Previously on Ian Collins and the Creatures of the Night.
Oh man, this was the most amazing experience around. I'm in a cinema, right? I'm watching like The Matrix, and there's this Chinese chick sat next to me, and she's doing things with her legs, okay? And she's looking at me during the film. End of the film, she comes over to me, and I'm thinking, hello.
The question was, would he follow it up?
So I'm thinking, I don't know what to do about this, this Chinese chick. So, and a load of you rang up last night and said, oh, that's a lady boy or a prostitute. So I did phone her, I phoned her and made some sort of preliminary arrangements to kind of meet up. And she's none of those things. And she's really nice, and she's dead horny, and she, wants me big time.
But still, he needed confirmation.
Because yesterday, I still had some, reservations about this thing, so I phoned her again. She is as sound as that is one hot chick, and I'm definitely going to see her this weekend.
But by Friday morning, he was sure.
And I don't care what anybody says tomorrow, I am going to bonk for Britain with the Chinese chick. It is going to be the most sensual...
But the question is, what happened next?
Look, Jerky, I don't need to talk to you.
Brace yourself.
Thank you very much. You're lucky to catch me up. 08700 40 50 60. No messing around here. No messing around here. Chinese chick detail on its way. I didn't have to be here, you know. I didn't have to be here tonight. It's Ian Collins, voice of the common man. Go to the website, voiceofthecommonman.com.
Voice of the common man.
And check out Sarah's ass, because it's on there. Voice of the Common Man is one word, voiceofthecommonman.com. You do need the www. We're just trying to wean you off that laborious process of saying it. So the Chinese chick stuff is on its way. You have to hear the Chinese chick stuff. Box for a Box is on its way. And Pete is here. He's not on his way.
And how are you this morning, need I ask?
Very well.
Yeah?
Very well indeed.
Good. Had a good weekend?
I had a fabulous weekend.
That's all right. That's nice. What did you get up to?
I'll tell you in a
Anything
little
exciting?
while. Oh, yes. Oh, yes. I'll tell you in a little while. But pray tell, who is that sat on your left?
Do you know what, everybody? It's Jonathan back for a very scary second appearance on this show.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much. Don't all applaud at once.
It's amazing. It's the second time. And what is more amazing than all of this?
This is very ironic, this.
Because see, Jonathan is of Chinese extraction.
Yeah.
Your old man's from China.
And my mother.
And your mum.
Yes.
And you've been out there a long time.
Yes. Well, I was born here, but my folks were born in China and came over in the late 60s and settled down and had me in the late 70s. And
oh, my God, we've got a CV going here.
I sit before you now.
What the
sit before us now. That's right. And you speak the language.
Oh, this is
Indeed
too cool.
I do. And Chinese.
See, I should have recorded some things she was saying. You could have told me what it meant.
I could have given you a little translation.
Yeah.
Crash course in Chinese.
So it's like, yeah, it's
What,
like
did she like revert to her native language during...
No, she didn't actually, but it'd have been nice. So you speak Cantonese?
Cantonese, yes. There's Mandarin, which is mainland China.
Yeah.
And Cantonese, which mainly spoken in Hong Kong.
Yeah. So, what, you know, like, hello, good evening, and welcome to Ian Collins and the Creatures of the Night, the #1 radio experience. How would you kind of, you know, verbalise that, a bit of old Cantonese?
I'll be honest, I'm not that good. I can't string...
should I show you? Should I show you? Because we did it before the show.
Because we thought he might lose it.
Yeah. Are you ready for this?
Yeah, I'm ready.
Are you ready?
你而家聽緊 Ian Collins 同埋佢嘅朋友 Pete on TalkRadio，佢真係好好笑。
Ho. Hey.
What's that ho-ho bit? I like that. What's the ho-ho bit? What's going on there?
Ho ho still. Very, very funny.
Is that what he means?
Very, very
Can
funny.
we have that again?
Yeah.
Let's hear that again.
你而家聽緊 Ian Collins 同埋佢嘅朋友 Pete on TalkRadio，佢真係好好笑。
Oh, seal. Hey, fantastic. We're all 10 years old again. We've never heard another language. So would you translate, did you translate Pop-Up Pete then?
No, just Pete. No, with his friend Pete.
Oh,
I
right.
assumed you were friends, so...
He's not my mate.
Don't even like him. That's a 19-year-old bozo. You think I hang around with people like him?
He's a 32-year-old granddad.
You think he's a 32-year-old granddad? Now that's, when you're about 7 or 8, you actually think that anybody who's over 25 is a granddad. So the expression granddad is actually, you know, a generic expression for old people, isn't it? There's a granddad over there. Amazing. So you're not fluent Cantonese?
Not fluent. It's, ho, seal.
Still.
Yeah, it's not fluent. I mean, I can hold a conversation and, you know, I can...
But you can speak it, but you can't write it. How does that work out?
Can't read it or write it.
Who can write that stuff anyway? Nobody can write that.
Beats me.
Is it sideways or downwards?
Backwards.
You read it sideways?
Both. You can read it sideways or downwards. Depends what format it's written in.
Because when you go to Chinese restaurants, right, all that, you know, written on the word means nothing. It's just like... It's just confused English folk. They think it's like a bit of, you know...
To give the impression it's another culture.
Yeah.
And another language. But it's a big conspiracy theory.
Yeah, it's just like, it's just a load of stuff written up there to...
To confuse you.
Yeah.
It does.
Confuses me.
And it's like, you know, number of prawn ball gags we've heard today, and they just fill in the, like, the blanks there.
Although it does help me if I'm ordering. See, I can't order specific dishes, but I know, say if I'm taking a certain person out, like, who I want to impress, what I do, I say in Chinese, listen, I'm here with a friend, but I want to impress them, so could you bring me out that dish that's, you know, full of this vegetable and that meat? But, you know, they're thinking I'm ordering it, specific dishes, so I'm conversing
Oh, I
away.
see, yeah.
I say, oh, look, just help me out here and just play along the gag. All right, thanks a lot.
So, do you talk to your folks in English or Cantonese?
English.
How do they talk to each other in English or Cantonese?
When they're arguing in Chinese,
Do they?
yeah, but every
You've
day.
got to get a recording of that.
That really freaks my chicken how they can do that though, because often that happens, doesn't it? People who can speak in like 2 languages, certain situations they revert to to a certain speech, and then
Yeah, but sometimes it's just one sentence. It's just one sentence.
Or sometimes they'll speak and then like, they throw in the odd word that's Chinese.
Yeah.
It just throws you because there's some words that have a better contextual meaning.
Sure.
Than, you know.
What's Chinese for jackass? Do you know?
Jackass.
Yeah.
As in a fool.
Yeah.
傻仔.
Sojay.
傻仔. It's all phonetics.
Got to make an effort, with the old pronunciation there. God.
傻仔.
Well, go on, you do it then. No, the thing is, because it's like, you know, you've got to... It's like when you speak French, it's no good speaking to... Well, I used to work at this hotel where there was this, that was in Folkestone. So, like, you get a lot of French folk come over. And the security guard was a guy from Yorkshire who made absolutely zero attempt to, like, water... They come in there, he'd go, all right, me ducks. You think, what kind of idiot have you got to be? They're like, you know these people are French. And he wasn't deliberately trying to confuse him, it just didn't occur to him. And you've got to, so you don't want to go too far the other way. But, if you're going to speak those languages, you've got to put in the... But the trouble is, you see, like Western folk are so kind of bogged down with the stereotype of the accent when it comes to somewhere like China, that you wind up kind of sending it up
Yeah, yeah.
And what's the deal with the arsehole thing? You know, what's all that about?
What?
You know, the arsehole? What's all that? What's the deal there? What did that ever mean, if it meant anything at all?
Arsehole.
Yeah.
I don't know.
You don't know what it means?
No.
The most used word in...
It's hello, isn't it?
I think it's just one of those throwaway things, throwaway lines, isn't it?
What is it?
So is it not Chinese?
No, not the slightest. Not like that.
Japanese or
Oh,
something?
well,
I
so
don't
is
know.
it just like a bit of a gag? It's not they don't really say
You're
that.
telling me that's a British seaside end of pier gag after all these years?
Man.
It's gotta
Arsehole.
be. It's gotta be.
So nobody says that?
No one said that. You meet someone, you would not say that.
What would they say?
What an absolute oriental disappointment this night's turning out to be.
What would they say?
Wait, Holma, how are you?
Hey, Homer.
Holma.
Homer.
And you'll give me a hard time for not putting the right emphasis on that. Ridiculous.
大家聽緊 Ian Collins 同埋佢嘅朋友 Pete on Talk Radio，佢真係好好笑。
Hi ho silver. Hey, beautiful.
Lining.
Yeah.
Very
We're happy
funny.
with that. See, this show is cultured. Cultured, I'm telling you. This was really weird. I had a letter, right, so we're talking about the possibility of going to California for a holiday. And I was thinking it might be quite nice. But I'd heard various satanic rumors about California, which were kind of putting me off, stemming back to biblical times. I had a letter from little Nick, who has a degree in underestimating, I think, just about everybody. Anyway, so dear Ian Collins, you said something fascinating this morning. Is there anything about California in the Bible? You were about 30, I think. I am 19, the same age as your mindless creature of the night. How can any reasonable, intelligent person get to 30 without becoming aware that the Bible was written in ancient times in the Middle East, and also that Europeans explored the Americas in the 16th century? You know, Columbus and all that. But perhaps you don't know. How could there be anything about California in the Bible? Says Nick. Nick, I actually thought my audience was slightly more switched on. You know, we weren't looking for a reference to Sunset Boulevard or some kind of Tom Cruise, Nicole Kidman kind of chapter in there. And the Lord said unto us, go to Hollywood and be happy. It wasn't literal, Nick. I know you're only in your first year, mate, but, you know, you're doing English. Leave the history bit to me. That's my thing. No, we're not looking for a direct translation. The Bible is full of kind of various pointers that folk over the years have tried, mainly, I would guess, in vain, to perhaps attribute to today's political or economic goings-on. They try this in many ways. In, I believe it's Revelations, we get this loose reference to the barcode. Now, you're not telling me the barcode, Nick, was written or designed in biblical times? So in the same way as a lot of prophecies and a lot of good books do allude to things that are going to happen in the future, days of judgment, whatever, the question was, as if it needed explaining in such simple terms, the question was, is there anything in the Bible that suggests, in whatever kind of way, however loosely, however tenuously, that a region of land, a vast dominant area, as yet undiscovered, will crack from the east, or the west, well, it would be the west if it was California, will crack from the west, and fall into the seas and be swallowed up. My life, I didn't think I needed that kind of explanation on these things. I'm surprised at you, Nick, sir. Man of your intelligence. Have a word with your brother when he rings. 08700 40 50 60 is my telephone number. You want to ring me? I might put you on the air. Lines are open. Go to the website. It's voiceofthecommonman.com. Voiceofthecommonman.com. Get in there and have a look around. There's a bundle of stuff going. There's a few new things. There's going to be even more new things going on that website. But there is a picture of Sarah on there now.
Yeah, that revealing pic of Sarah Morgan.
It is a revealing pic. I had loads of emails saying, is that really... And this one came from Nick Fay.
She never even knew we took it.
Is that really Sarah's rear on the website?
Yeah, man.
Tell her that you'll take it off unless she puts a proper photo of herself on there. Then you can leave the photo up there anyway. Well, I don't know. Well, she knew we took it, but she didn't know. She hasn't seen it. She didn't know it had come out.
Oh, I didn't even know that she
knew because we were in here, and she was going, "Oh, get off!"
Yeah, no, because I was out the room.
Don't point that camera up here.
I was out the room at the time. Remember?
It's one of those. Yeah.
I missed it.
Unbelievable.
Missed it.
New campaign we're beginning this week. In addition to Box for a Box, which I'll come on to.
We've got to come on to Box for a Box because we're still looking.
Absolutely right. We've also got 50 quid running for anybody who can kill Jane McDonald, the singing vessel from the cruise show. What did I say for anybody who could what?
Yeah, I thought it was a bit harsh.
Did I say killer?
You did, yeah.
Did I say killer?
Blimey, O'Reilly.
Well, no, that's because that's my next story, you say.
Jeez.
That's killer. 50
God,
quid,
I thought...
50 quid to kill Jay McDonald.
Oh, was in my mouth then?
Well, Your Honour, right, I do this radio show, you see. The thing is, right, it's a bit tongue-in-cheek, and when I said kill, what I really meant was custard pie. I didn't mean, like, to cause that level of hassle. And I'd like to apologise now to the family of Jane McDonald, but, you know, there's always a bright side. We haven't got to listen to the South sing anymore. So that wouldn't be very nice. So, actually, it's 50 quid if you can custard pie Jane McDonald and get a photograph.
Yeah, don't think about killing her.
But we don't want you, like, nipping around your neighbour's house and saying, "Here, Maud, are you willing to take a pie and the old chops for me here?" And then just, like, getting a photograph of some bod, whose face is totally covered in a bit of meringue. That'd be cheating, and we're not into cheating. So that'd be no good, but it's got to be quite clearly German. But there is another 50 quid for anybody who can kill Chris Moyles, the fat old cheating, plagiarising bloater. Him. Yes, you know the one. So I've got a lot of stuff coming in, because apparently last week, this one came from Stephen Mack, who says that he was listening to our show, we were talking about taxi drivers, and then he turned on and heard a bit of Moz, was doing, like, almost sort of word-for-word stuff.
Oh, man, 1 year on, he's still playing.
Absolutely. So, it's amazing the man is still nicking our gear. He's not even... he's not even got a problem with it, the excuse of he happened to tune in on the way to work because he's on a different time slot. But he obviously sits there and religiously...
I bet he tapes it.
Of course he tapes it.
Or he tapes it, or he sets his alarm.
Of course he tapes it, or whatever. But last week, we were alerted to the fact that Crispy Boyles has been urging listeners to go down to MTV...
Yeah.
And
please.
Sneak in on the Donna Air programme. Yeah. Serious. By holding placards outside their window saying, "Listen to Chris Moyles on radio."
I wonder where that's been done before.
And I'm thinking, hello? We did exactly that. A guy actually got through a couple of times.
About 3 times.
Yeah, onto Donna Air's show and gave us a big plug on that.
Yeah.
So, Crispy Boyles, you shameful, fat turd.
Yeah.
What are you like? Get your own act, mate. Don't be doing ours, because we'll come round, we'll whip your backside so hard, and it'll require some hardness on that piece of old flabber. How do you... Has nobody stopped him? Is the man out of control? Chris Moyles! Chris Moyles! I'm going to kill you! Don't you understand? I have to kill you! So we're putting kind of like a radio authority fatwa on Chris Moyles' gut. Which is good. 08700 40 50 60. Anything else you want to say then? No problem. Work experience folk, by the way, must come with a medical certificate now. That's been decreed. A medical certificate suggesting you are of sound mind more than anything. That's kind of like where the concern is. You've got to be of sound mind. So I went to one of those dinner parties. If you're working class, you won't know what a dinner party is. But I got dragged into one of those things. And it's really weird, because I ended up being one of a couple for the night. This was Saturday night after I'd spent the day doing carnal things with the Chinese chick, which we'll come on to in a second. Anyway, so I had to go to this dinner party with my friend Big Rach. Now, don't get me wrong, I love my friend. There's great friends going on there. But friends can be tedious. You know how friends, sometimes you're just not in the mood. And the worst thing is there's like 3 couples there. And me and Big Rach are not a couple. So we're turning up at this thing. And the last thing you want, and Big Rach is a large girl. The last thing you want is any of these people thinking, is she with him? Because I'm thinking, voice of the common man, hello? we're not looking at this kind of establishment taking place at this dinner party. But, friends can be tedious. So the guy who's doing it was a guy called Steve. He's a tarmacker. Now, all roads need to be tarmacked. We have no problem with that at all. Every road needs to be tarmacked, because otherwise they couldn't piss you off on the motorway and put all those cones out while they're tarmacking and work all the wrong hours while they're doing it. But there's not a person on the planet that wants to hear about that job. I don't think there's any kind of aspect to tarmacking that would be... if anybody can tell us, like, a stimulating fact on tarmacking, I would love to hear it. As I sit here now, I can't imagine for the life of me anybody has got any kind of... How can you go to a party and start telling people about your job when you're a flipping tarmacker? Nothing's going to happen. Anyway, so there's Jackie, his wife. These are friends of mine for a long, long time. They're fine. Now, she's quite lovely. She's quite horny. Always gives me that kind of little look. Little look. When old Steve's not looking there. She's just little look. And I think, yeah, I could. I might be friends with your husband, but I probably could. And she used to work on the ferries, doing the duty-free stuff. And she retired to have 4 kids. And she's got 4 kids. And boy, does this woman look as if she's had 4 kids. I swear there's 2 of them still inside. You've never seen anything like it, and I don't know how that happens. So not only am I sat with, on one side of me, big Rach, who I think underneath it all would kind of dearly love to actually be my other half, but has 0 chance. I've got that on once, and like people at the dinner table thinking, oh, I wonder if there's anything going on there. And then on the other side, I've got big Jackie now. So I'm sat there in the middle. It's like, I don't know, do you remember the Weather Girls? It's like the Weather Girls plus me. But what is that whole thing about? I don't understand that thing about getting pregnant, okay, and putting on weight after you had a baby. Explain. How does that... I'm sorry, after you've had the baby, you've got rid of most of the weight because the baby was in there, and then people say, oh, yeah, I've really bloated up after I had a baby, and you think, no, sorry, it's impossible. That goes against everything. That can't happen. Surely you get thinner after you've had the baby because you're not carrying around the weight. And all these people are, like, 3 times the size of when they were pregnant. Does that make sense? There must be 3 girls I know at the moment who... this is another thing. Forget the pregnancy thing. 3 girls I know who got married over the last couple of years and have collectively put on about 10 stone since marriage. Lads, it is a big trap. It is a big trap. And you must have noticed, the best kind of... the best-looking girls you went to school with? The best-looking girls, when you were at school and you thought, oh, no chance there. 10 years later. That's a whole different ballgame. 10 years later. There was a girl at school, I won't mention her name, because she was rather delicious. And I saw her, like, 10 years later. I swear she had a beard. I swear she had a beard. She was like a blonde, blue-eyed stunner. I swear she had a beard.
What age was she a stunner? 16?
Yeah, well, we went through school together,
I bet she had, like, about 4 kids, though.
She had a couple of kids. She had 2 kids.
There you go.
Had 2 kids. It might be a hormonal thing, I don't know. But she was just, like...
What, growing hair?
Well, that is a hormonal thing, isn't it?
Yeah, I suppose it is.
Well, it's not like a choice thing. You don't sit there and will it. So anyway, but she, the same... Obviously, she got married, had a couple of kids, and thought, it doesn't matter anymore. I've got my man. I can let myself go. Welcome to Mooseville.
Probably the way it works, actually.
But it works out on all 2... There's another girl. I used to work down the Kentucky. Right, and she was a year above me at school, and always one of those kind of fantasy figures. Many a dark night under the quilt spent thinking about this particular woman.
Her and her chickens.
Her and her chickens, yes. She didn't do that to mine. Well, she did.
Finger licking good.
Yes.
Well, thank you very much, John. Hey, hi-ho. So, yeah, there we are. And this girl worked in the Kentucky, and I went down there once, and it was... She had this apron on, and for a fleeting moment I thought Colonel Sanders was in there with her. I mean, we are talking, like, and it took, like, a little while, because there was this little head on this big body. It took a little while to work out that it was the same person, because she had physically changed.
God.
And what I've never understood, every now and again you'll see one of these stories in the tabloids about somebody who divorced their other half because they got overweight or whatever.
Yeah.
And everyone says, it's a scandal, it's a scandal. But there's a real point here, because if your other half came home one day, a year into your marriage, covered head to toe in tattoos or piercings, you would say, hello, what's the deal? And they'd say, I decided to have it done. I just want to... And if you divorce that person, then there's not a person around that would disagree with you. They'd say, well, that's fair enough, because, you didn't marry someone who was covered in tattoos.
Of course.
They've changed their appearance. But if that person, puts on weight, and I'm not talking about, putting on weight, there are people who, the therapist thing about, it's body armour for, covering, and I understand all that, but I'm talking about people who just eat. People who just eat.
Just eat. They're disgusting.
Yeah. Who could make a real start, a real effort.
Mars bar after Mars bar. Mars bar.
Try just
after
eating
Mars
while
bar.
you're awake.
Yeah.
That's a good start, I think.
Yeah.
On these things. Anyhow, so they do all of this. And anybody that criticises somebody who's done that is a toe rag.
Oh, yeah.
Can't do it, not allowed. Okay, it's the pregnancy thing, it's, going into the marriage, whatever. Don't get it at all. But it just seems, way too much of a coincidence that blokes keep trim.
Yeah.
Women just pile it on after they've met the man.
Exactly. You know that hair thing you were talking about?
Hair thing?
I mentioned. You were saying it was connected to the hormones.
Yeah.
What is the right age to go through, puberty?
What, you're going through it now?
Well, no, but what
oh, my God, Pete's had a wet dream, everybody.
I was just thinking, it got me thinking, is it 12, yeah? About 12? I swear, I was one of the last people. Do you know how much bother this caused me? How much internal misery this caused me? It's really kind of opened up a whole skeleton full of cupboards, or cupboard full of skeletons, or whatever the term is. Because
can of worms.
Yeah, can of worms. That's it.
Yeah.
I used to sit there praying for sprouts.
Did you?
Yeah.
Well, the worst thing when we were at school is that
it's about 12, isn't it?
Well, with boys, it's
I
kind
swear
of like...
mine didn't appear till about 13.
Maybe
12,
later. 12 to 14, I think.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I think it's just sort of in that bracket. But the biggest geek in our class was the first to have pubic hair.
And it really...
That really pees you off,
You're getting changed for games, doesn't it? Win the first one, and it's shocking, isn't it?
Yeah.
Shocking.
Oh, we had one guy...
Sticks out like a big
One guy, he was, knocking out a 5 o'clock shadow at about 11. He had the full works, Everybody else would sit there, kind of, having a bit of a shower after games. He'd be having a shave. Where do I plug this in, sir?
We had one
I was sorry I'm late, miss. I had to have a shave, my razor bloke.
I was such a late developer.
And your voice, I don't remember my voice breaking. I have no recollection of that.
I think that's a myth. It never does. You never wake up and it's broken, do you? It just
yeah, but boys, some boys go through that thing, their voice going all up and down. And that's mostly when your old conkers have dropped. And there's some sort of tangible, examples of that at school, and you see that happening. I don't recall that at all. Don't recall that at all. I've no recollection of a voice breaking. I've no recollection of first seeing pubic hair.
I have. Delighted I was. Celebrated for days.
No. But no, I've got no recollection of it at all.
I have in that area down there.
Really? None whatsoever.
I have.
Never had a wet dream. Absolutely never had a wet dream.
I've never had a wet dream.
Never had a wet dream. John? Oh, he's having them regular.
Yeah, God,
he's having them regular.
I'm having one now.
Sitting in here with us. Never had one of those.
Yeah, but I remember it was in a cubicle, getting changed after swimming, and I spotted one.
Did you?
Yeah, I remember it.
Really one's no good. One is you might as well have none as have one.
Well, you've
got to have a crop.
A little patch of growth.
If you haven't got a crop, then nothing's happening.
I was delighted.
Nothing's happening at all. So I've no recollection. Wizardora.
Yeah.
As for Wizardoring, I'm doing that from 6 or something.
Oh yeah.
I couldn't stop. Couldn't stop myself. Loved it.
When you first discover Wizardoring? Oh, blimey, O'Reilly, can't wait to get home, can you?
It used to be a different process to what it is now.
Yeah.
I think it takes a little while to work out how to do it. And I couldn't to start with, anyway. Right, we're going to hit the phones in just a second. There's loads of other stuff. We're going to talk about Lord Melchett, not the Blackadder character, the dude with the maze in the field yesterday. Because one of the people at that dinner party was, by the way, a farmer, and I had a really interesting... He was the most interesting person at the table. A really interesting chat with him. 08700 40 50 60. My lines are now open. If you're hanging on, do not go away. If you've got a ringing tone, stick around there. We'll get to you as soon as we possibly can. Go to the website, voiceofthecommonman, that's one word, .com. Check out the bits and pieces in there. There's a chat room in there, messaging board as well. Put out any comments you want to make. Not a problem. We can do all of that stuff. Also, the Chinese chick detail is on its way. Plus another girl that I met on Friday night, which is not the same story, but it's just it's to do with the box for the box thing. If you don't know what that is, we'll explain that in a little while. Right, lines are open, don't go away.
Right now, while you're listening to this, your perfect match could be calling into the Talk Radio Matchmaker, so you should call too. Since it's brought to you by Talk Radio, it's just like letting your best friend get you a date. It's free to enroll and completely confidential. Almost instantly, our MatchLink software matches you with people who are at least 95% compatible with you. So call 0808 100 1089. The Talk Radio Matchmaker. It's the perfect way to find your perfect match. 0808 100 1089.
I suppose you want me to talk? If you don't, Sunshine, there's plenty who will. Tell you what, drop all the charges. Bung me something extra, and I'll blab.
Pop into a Vodafone store, where Vodafone's new tariffs now include up to 50% extra talk time absolutely free. And we've reduced our peak rate call charges by up to 5 pence per minute. To find out how we've dropped our call charges, just talk direct to the #1 network at your local Vodafone store.
All right, I'll talk. I'll sing like a canary, I'll squeal like a pig.
Join me, Mike Parry, on tonight's Sports Zone. It's not like watching Brazil tonight because he's away sunning himself, but I'll be asking, which fixtures do you look forward to and which do you dread? That's Mike Parry from 8, only on the new Talk Radio, your station for sport, news and views.
There you go, 10 gun Ian Collins to my 佢嘅朋友 Pete on Talk Radio. 佢真係好好笑。
Ian Collins et les créateurs de la nuit. Ian Collins et les créateurs de la nuit.
Ja, ist alles in Ordnung. Ian Collins und die Creature und die Nick. We've got all languages here, right? Because we're gonna take over the world, I think, with this show. Take over the world, right? Don't go away, Ian, with you in a second. Why does it say Ian the comedy one there?
Because he is a comedy caller.
Do I know him?
You know Ian. He's the one who ate his duck, allegedly.
Oh, Ian.
Yeah.
All right. All right. Yeah. David.
Hello, Ian.
Hi, David. Hi. Thanks for hanging on. What do you got?
A new subject.
A new subject.
I've been doing a lot of research over the last month or so, and there's a wonderful fashion that's just come out in Japan for old-fashioned cars to be redesigned with new cars with old-fashioned faces.
Oh, yeah.
Which is marvellous. I've got a whole pile. I'll fax you a couple when I get off the phone so you can see them.
Okay.
Can I give you all the different names?
Please do.
Because basically they're a Japanese thing. They've just imported 50 into Britain called Daihatsu Myra Classics. And most of them are still for sale if anyone wants one.
Is that right?
Any Daihatsu garage will be able to put you onto those. And Subaru Vivio is the other one, which looks like that, but you have to import them from Japan. And Daihatsu have actually produced about 7 different classic cars in Japan.
Do you work for Daihatsu?
I was just about to say I have nothing to do with Daihatsu, but what happened was, the story was very simple. I was driving around Isha, as I do when I'm staying with my father down that way, and we saw this wonderful-looking car. I said, what on earth is that? It sort of flashed past us in the other direction. And amazingly enough, the next week we were there again, and I saw it again. And my dad just caught a little badge on it, which he said looked like a D for Daihatsu. So I rang them up at their head office, and they faxed a load of pictures to me, and it was.
Blimey.
And, I looked on the internet, and the story was that the more I looked for, the more I found.
And these are all going for good prices, on?
Well, the amazing thing is, they're all about £9,000 new. They've got 650cc engines, and the brake horsepower of a reasonable motorbikes. So some of them will do 0 to 60 in about 10 seconds. I don't know how they do it.
That's incredible.
They are very powerful little cars.
Oh, I guess so.
So, I mean, the thing is, at the moment, they're not really advertising them at all in this country because 99% of them are for sale to export. I mean, New Zealand's full of them, apparently.
I bet.
But I just thought, you know...
But they are there.
Yeah, they're so... I mean, they basically describe them to the listeners because they won't be seeing my pictures. They either look a bit like... They've all got round headlights. They either look like a Mini, with a big chrome grille on the front. Hello?
Yeah, I'm here.
Quiet, that's right. No, it went very quiet. Or there's one which looks like an old Morris Van den Pla, like the 1300 with a sort of square, pointy grille in the front. And... well, it's just anyone that's fed up with the old jelly molds like the Megans and the Mondeos has now got an alternative.
So you got something you can flash through to us?
Yes, I've got loads. I've got a couple of brochures and a couple of internet pictures, which I will send 2 or 3 of them through to you at the moment. And
okay.
I'm waiting now on Japan, actually, to either send me some big brochures or a couple of little models.
I'd like to see that. Stay there a second, David. Don't go away. No, just stay there 1 second. Let me just go to Ian, who's over here. Ian, how you doing?
Oh, hello, good morning, Ian.
Good morning.
Ian, I want to talk about Richard II.
Yes, sir.
But first of all, I sunbathed this afternoon. I don't know about you, but wonderful day we had today, wasn't it?
Wonderful what?
Wonderful day we had today.
Beautiful.
Did you do any sunbathing yourself today?
Missed it, unfortunately. I had every intention of going out there for a bit of sun, but didn't get there.
Oh, well, I did some sunbathing.
Damn shame, really.
Oh, well, I certainly did some sunbathing.
Yeah.
In the cemetery that's near me, you see.
Sunbathe in a cemetery?
Well, yeah, and, yeah...
Is that entirely legal?
Well, there's no else about, and I was lying there in my neck and ways, because, I don't want to risk getting sunburn, and you can't be too careful, can you? Anyway, lying there, I was looking around me, the sun's beating down, and I thought, when the time comes, I'd like to be buried here, you know. So anyway, Richard II.
Yeah.
Now, I heard you say just now that you're interested in history, well, so am I. I've got a book about Richard II.
Have you?
And I watched the Shakespeare video recently.
Yeah.
And I really enjoyed that.
Fabulous.
Do you know anything about Richard II at all?
Well, I know he was on the throne in 1300 and something, 70 or something.
So, died, or was he died, or was he killed in 1399?
I'll have to take your word for that.
Well, yeah, I know he died that year. I can't, but
Oh, you mean whether he came off the throne when he died? Is that what you're saying?
I'm sorry. Can you say again?
So you said I thought you said he died in that year.
Well, I know he died in that year. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. Anyway,
why were you asking me then?
No. It's just that I'm particularly into the Richard II for some reason.
Why?
I don't know. It's just a sort of a whim, I think. And I think I will write something about him one of these days. It's a sort of whim, you know.
Yeah. He was the last Plantagenet king, wasn't he?
Was he?
Yes.
I know. Well, yeah. I mean...
Before the Lancaster folk game.
Yeah, I mean, there's that John Grant line in the play.
Yes.
Or those lines about, which really kind of well known, aren't they?
Right.
And that play, I've never really been all that keen on Shakespeare before I saw this.
Before you saw that, yeah.
Video, but it really kind of sort of got Shakespeare going for me, you know?
Yeah.
I've got copies of Macbeth I'm going to watch soon.
Beautiful.
Anyway, do you like Shakespeare?
I don't know much about Shakespeare at all.
No? But history, what's your favourite historical period?
Probably Cromwellian.
Oh, yes?
Yeah.
I wonder what it is. I tell you what I like.
I just think it's fascinating because I think that whole kind of destruction of monarchy, the kind of the fact that we were officially a republic for a period of time, etc. I find that quite interesting. And no mean coincidence, of course, that Oliver Cromwell had the same seat as John Major.
Oh, well, Huntingdon?
Yeah.
Oh, I didn't know that. Oh, right. But I like medieval times. I love the Middle Ages. I'm particularly in the Middle Ages, you know.
Yeah.
Yeah. In fact, I got these books recently.
Oh, yeah.
A set of 5 books all about the Middle Ages.
Yeah.
So I'm looking forward to reading those, you know.
Sure, yeah.
But have you sort of done a lot of research about, you know, the sort of, what is it, the 17th century at all?
Well, no, I just kind of like reading on anything historical or whatever, but that's just perhaps a favourite era.
All right, yeah. Okay,
Having said that, I think William the Conqueror is also an incredibly interesting person to read about.
Yeah.
Yeah, I like all of that. I think there's so much to the man's life. More than there is to yours, I think, Ian. But I'm grateful for that. Thank you, sir. 08700 40 50 60. Hang on, 2 callers out of 2 have been London-based. We were going to ban soft southern puffs from listening to this show, or calling this show for a night. We were going to say, right, only people above... have we got a map around somewhere? What's a good town to pick? Pete, you got a map behind you. What's a good town to pick? After I've spoken to Mark, this is.
Carlisle.
Carlisle?
Yeah.
Bit far up, isn't it?
All right, then. Blackburn.
That's even further.
All right, then. Birmingham.
No, I'd say somewhere slightly lower than Birmingham.
All right, then. Gloucester.
Gloucester. What's the deal with that Gloucester place? What happens in Gloucester, apart from Dr. Foster? And cheese stuff.
What about Plymouth?
Yeah. That'd be a good choice, wouldn't it? Plymouth.
Well, Norwich.
Yeah, but the trouble is, you see, Norwich, you don't think of Norwich being the north, but if you kind of, run a line along westerly, you'll find folk who start to speak with northern accents. Anything above, I would say... just look on the map outside London.
Yeah.
Go up just a few miles.
All right.
What do you got there?
Peterborough.
Peterborough. North of Peterborough.
Yeah.
We go for that?
Yeah, all right then.
North of Peterborough.
Female between the age of 18 and 22 only.
No.
From Peterborough.
No. Oh, from Peterborough?
Yeah.
Why from Peterborough?
Because that's what we're doing tonight. You said call us from Peterborough.
No, from above Peterborough.
Oh, right, sorry. Above, that's what I meant.
Anywhere above?
Yeah. And female and between 18 and 22.
18-year-old chicks are fine, because I met one on Friday night who might be able to do us a big favour on this show. Not sure yet, might be able to. Anyway, so we might do that. Anyway, 08700 40 50 60. We got onto puberty, we got onto dinner parties and that kind of stuff. Pete in Reigate says, I had the misfortune of not being able to listen to your show for a while and missed if anything happened to the idea of purchasing or sponsoring an ape of some kind. Well, we did have a song telling you all about it. We lost the song. And now another radio presenter, yet another plagiariser, has sponsored an ape. So Andy tells me. Tony in Manchester says, wasn't sure if you... Oh, yeah, Tony, thank you for that. That's the Jerky Boy detail. Jared and Richard, a couple of our homo listeners, emailed back and said, homo, I think that was a bit uncalled for. All right, raving fags, whatever you want to call yourself, we don't mind. There's a lot of fags don't like that homo expression, so we'll drop it. This is from Darren from Lurgan. Even though I'm incredibly drunk, I think you should bring back the golden issue and have great inventions that have not been discovered yet. And one invention of my own is an electric toilet brush, where all you do is press a button and the brush swirls around the toilet and cleans. Love the show. Keep up the good work. That might be quite a good idea. That might be quite a good idea. 08700 40 50 60. I haven't had one woman tell me why women put on weight after they've met their man. Not one woman has told me that. You can meet the most stunning women. And that happens big time. And why does it happen more? I hate to go on about the class thing, but I think I'm qualified to do so. Why does it happen more in working class situations? What's that all about? But why would it happen more in working class situations? Well, working class women are likely to pile on the pounds. I go to meet my mum from work sometimes. My mum works in this big, horrible factory, and she works in this place and works her bazookas off. And she's on holiday for a couple of weeks, which is fantastic. And she works with some scumbags down that place, and she has, like, the most nightmare job. And it's presses, and it's manual, and she's like 65, and I'm sort of figuring she can do without this kind of gig. At this time in her life, it's not really what she should be doing. And she can give it up at some point after she's inserted various objects up the jacksie of the foreman, who's this horrible, horrible man. Anyway, so she works at this place, and as soon as I go and pick her up from work, and it is heart attack city at that place. It is, you have never seen such a bunch of old bloaters. In fact, it's male and female on this occasion, coming out of this place. You've never seen anything like it. minds so narrow on these people, you couldn't get a bus ticket in there. Never seen anything like it at all. And I say to her, how do you work in that place? It is if the government ever want to do like a campaign on health and what you should not look like, give me a ring and take your cameras down to my mum's place of work, where there are so many unbelievable gratuitous fatzos working down there. It is obscene. And it's a working class thing. Why would that be? Why would that be? All right, I kind of buy the argument about it's just not very physical. You're not running around all day, which is true. You're kind of sat at a press, and you're pressing this button one by one. And she works with like about 2 people, 3 people that are worth talking to. And the rest are just the absolute, the bottom of the pile of life. The bottom of the pile. The gene pool would be no poorer if these folks were not in it. So anyway, but why would that be? Why would you get all that? What's the fish and chip fry up beer thing? Do these people know no better? But anyway, it was the women thing. It was the women putting on weight after they've met their man, or got married sometimes, or after they've had a baby in particular. There might be more reasons behind that, I'm not too sure. But what's the deal about meeting a bloke, being very, very happy with him, getting to the point where you think, yes, I have met my man, and then piling on loads and loads and loads and loads and loads and loads of pounds. I'm not taking the pee here, but I'm kind of interested to find out exactly why that would happen. So it goes on in the mind of the pound-piling woman on these occasions. We'd like to know. 08700 40 50 60. Lines are open. Chinese chick story is on its way. It's on its way. You can kind of guess what happened, but I think it's only my duty having let you follow the story all last week that I should tell you pretty much what happened there. Please. And the farmer I met on the most interesting man, okay, at this dinner thing, was the farmer. It was like a really good bloke, really, really, really cool bloke. And do you know what he did? He played rugby and he went skiing as 2 hobbies, which I found fascinating. I had no comprehension that farmers go skiing. I would never, ever think of that. Would you, Pete? Was that something that comes into your head if you met a farmer and you said, what did you do? What's one of your hobbies? He goes skiing.
Skiing?
Do you find that odd that a farmer goes skiing?
Yeah, you think it'd be,
I don't know what you'd think, but...
mud wrestling.
I think because what it is that I think he was a farm owner.
Yeah.
Which is a slightly different position from a farmer. The average bloke who, anyway. So, anyway, he was an interesting bloke. So that was all. That was fine. 08700 40 50 60. You can fax us on 0541 59 69 79. You can email iCollins@talk-radio.co.uk or go to the website, which is voiceofthecommonman.com.
I don't watch much TV as such, don't choose my video. I'm happy with my tranny, it don't need remote control. It stimulates my grey stuff, operates my laughing gear. 'Cause Ian's phone is here. Come to the radio show.
Introducing Sunraysia's Dan Presser, his mum Ruby, and his younger son Bram.
Why are you throwing that boomerang, Bram?
History has it that over 130 years ago, the MacArthur family from Devonshire, England, planted the first prune trees in Australia.
Careful with that boomerang, Bram.
That's the same family that founded Australia's wool industry.
Yes, it certainly is, and everyone knows the high quality of Australia's merino wool.
And it is said the MacArthurs developed the best prune trees in the whole wide world.
It's the descendants of these very same trees from which Sunraysia makes its prune juice.
Sunraysia prune juice is a good source of vitamin C and dietary fibre.
Sunraysia prune juice has no preservatives, no artificial flavours, and no sugar added either.
From Devonshire to Australia, and now back to Devonshire again, just in time for tea and scones.
Trust Sunraysia to take their prune juice to the UK, Dan.
You can now find Sunraysia prune juice in the fruit juice aisle of selected Safeway stores. 15 pence of your purchase price of Sunraysia 1 litre prune juice is donated to the Cancer Research Campaign.
Is it frizzoggle up your giggle gaggle?
Are you lonk or grubbish if you hadn't had your Braxis? Then join James H. Reeve in his genetically modified underpants on Friday night at 10 on 10:53 and 10:89 a.m. The new Talk Radio.
Ian Collins on Talk Radio.
God that is James H. Reeve brings us here another comedy trail. James H. Reeve in his genetically modified underpants. He's in the wrong job. He should be down at the comedy store with all those comedy... Anyway, it is a... it is a kind of a neat link, actually, to something else I wanted to say. In fact, let me just go to Mark. Let me go to Mark here. Mark, how you doing?
Hi, Ian. How
yes,
are you doing?
I'm all right.
Yeah, Mark, I'm ringing because you were speaking about puberty earlier.
Yes.
And I remember... the first time I got a pubic hair, I ran downstairs to my mum. I just went in the bathroom and it just sprouted, one hair. And I went down to my mum and said, look, Mum, I'm turning to a man.
Is that what you said?
That's what I said, yeah.
So were you pleased with the arrival of this thing?
I was over the moon.
You see, I've got no recollection
and I feel so
of sprouting a
sorry for
spring.
that gut room guys there that's never had a wet dream. I had one in my lifetime.
Do you remember it?
I do. I remember the whole dream.
To this day?
To this day, I remember the dream. And...
But are you glad you had it?
Oh, yes. Oh, yes, I do. Anyways, I've been down in London for a lot of years now, James. Ian. Sorry.
It's all right.
You said you had someone from Carlisle on earlier. I'd love to see who it is and what they're going to talk about.
No, we haven't got anybody on from Carlisle.
You mentioned Carlisle earlier.
Yeah, we were talking about Carlisle, but we didn't have any caller on.
Well, it's a great city, though, isn't it?
Is it? I don't know.
Have you been to Carlisle as
Never
well?
been there. Never been there. I always imagined it was a bit of a toilet myself.
No, it's
Is it not?
No.
What goes off there? Mark, tell us about Carlisle.
Oh, brilliant.
It's good, is it?
You take off to Scotland from there.
Yeah.
You take off to the Lake District. It's the top place up
Beautiful,
there.
beautiful.
I moved down here because I like the people down here.
Yeah, yeah.
You know what I mean?
So you don't like Carlisle people?
Oh, yeah.
They're all right, are they?
They're all right, but I have to tell you that when you were talking about puberty...
Yes.
Let's get some more people talking about puberty, because I'd love other people to talk about that.
Okay, Mark.
All right, mate.
Thank you very much.
Speak to you soon.
See you later. That's Mark, who's decided he wants people to talk about puberty. We talk about puberty if you want to talk about puberty. No problem with this at all. No problem with this in any shape or form. So, right, the genetic... Lord Melchett, who's the... What's the executive director or something of Greenpeace? And a pack of bods, right, go out in their cars yesterday, and they destroy this... they start to destroy this field of maize, genetically modified maize. And this pack of dingoes are at it for a little while. A couple of farmers come along, a bit, a tad peed off when they started to do this, and so they arrest them, and arrest him as well. Thankfully. But this farmer, what he was saying to me was absolutely fascinating, right, is that genetically modified stuff, farmers have always, for years, when planting their crops, have always tried to modify crops. Always. For years. It's kind of like an evolution. He said, anyone in that kind of trade would agree that, generically speaking, year on year on year on year, vegetables have got better. They're in better nick. So you got these veg that, a potato would have been a manky old thing 100 years ago. But now it's a reasonable bit of kit. Everybody's very happy about the potato. And that's because farmers have known how to kind of nurture and kind of look after. And then, well, if we put that with that, next year when we plant, we won't put so much of that. We'll put a bit more of that. And they've kind of done this just naturally. It's instinctive to your farming hand to do this. And nobody said a damn word. But, of course, now we're in this advanced kind of technological stage where you can bring on scientists to kind of do what a farmer has spent years manually doing in the laboratory environment. And everybody gets upset because now they've given it a name. You know, had you seen a documentary about how the farmer had put that with that and a bit of that and a bit of that, everybody, oh, it's fantastic what the old farmer knows. Are they amazingly instinctive people? It's incredible how they just know that by putting a little bit more of this on it or a bit more of that. They've always sprayed. Nobody gave a toss about spraying. And now all of a sudden a couple of odds in white coats come along and they start tinkering around with a bit of old seed, mixing this with that. They call it genetically modified. Everybody gets the ump and says can't do it. And Lord Melchett and those bozos from Greenpeace go out there and pee off a farmer big time in his field when he's trying to earn a living during harvest time. And they wreck his field. What sort of right has somebody got to do that? I hope they're all jailed for many months for their ludicrous, immature, childish, juvenile pranks and exploits. The hell's all that about anyway? Greenpeace. The best thing they ever did was the whale deal. Getting out there, and I admired that, those big old whaling boats. And they went past in some old rubber dinghy number when a man just above you, 20 foot, has got a harpoon in his hand. You're on a rubber boat. That's craziness. I mean, you've got to have some kind of admiration for these kind of tactics. But mooching around a farmer's field who's growing a bit of maize, hello? Are they mad? Flan the Greenpeace mongers. You see them on your field. So I was staggered to read all about that. Anyway, 08700 40 50 60. So just leave the farmers alone. If that's what they want to do, that's what they want to do. And you don't have to eat it. We'll talk about that. Alex Higgins detail coming up. Bundle of other stuff too. And if anything you want to put in that we haven't mentioned so far, we're always up for that. 08700 40 50 60. The China Girl detail on its way. I'm not keeping you hanging on here, but it's just something I want to run past you because I think you should know. No problem there. And whatever else you want to put in, lines are open. Go to the website, voiceofthecommonman.com.
Every hour from the Sky News Centre. This is Talk Radio News.
Air rage crackdown and inside for an Anelka transfer saga. Richard Gere honoured by Hollywood. Good morning, I'm Sophie Benzing. A crackdown on air rage is to be launched by the government. A new offence of interfering with crew members carrying out their duties is expected to be announced later. 1 in 3 women carry on smoking while they're pregnant. New figures show mums-to-be are ignoring health advice despite huge publicity about the harmful effects on unborn children. Ex-smoker Maria Snell says she couldn't find the willpower to quit.
Especially if you've never had a child before, you don't really maybe believe or understand, you have a baby growing inside you until you actually have that child. You sort of realise just, how precious they are. And then you have regrets. You think, I shouldn't have done that. I shouldn't have smoked because it could harm my baby.
20 million households in England and Wales could see their water bills fall significantly. The water watchdog Ofwat is today expected to announce cuts of up to 20% off household bills. The move is part of a price plan for the next 5 years. A passenger's been killed after falling from a train into the path of another travelling in the opposite direction. The incident happened at Bolcombe Tunnel near Brighton in East Sussex at around 6 o'clock last night. The dead man in his 20s has not yet been formally identified. A group of protesters who are accused of sabotaging a crop of genetically modified maize will appear before magistrates today. Norfolk Police charged 28 people last night, including Greenpeace Executive Director Lord Melchett. The Nicholas Anelka transfer saga is set to be dragged out. He's being given until noon to decide if he's to join Lazio. The Italian giants have agreed to pay $22 million for the Frenchman as long as he lowers his wage demands. If Anelka doesn't sign, the Gunners intend to make him honour his contract. Meanwhile, Arsenal manager Arsene Wenger's got plenty to worry about this morning. Aside from the Anelka saga, goalkeeper David Seaman could be set to join Tony Adams on the sidelines. Last night, he limped out of the friendly with Monaco with a calf injury. The film star Richard Gere has been honoured in Hollywood by having his hand and footprint set in concrete. The actor is the 220th person to make their mark outside Mann's Chinese Theatre on Hollywood Boulevard. So many fans turned up to watch, police had to close off the street. From the Sky News Centre, this is Talk Radio News.
And it's pretty much the same old story all over the UK. Mostly clear, could turn a bit chilly in some areas, temperatures going down to about 5, but generally a fairly reasonable night, not too bad. Average temperatures 10 Celsius, that's 50 degrees Fahrenheit.
This is Talk Radio. Across the UK on 1053 and 1089 AM medium wave. With Ian Collins. This is Ian Collins and the creatures of the night.
Voice of the common man, showbiz icon, all-round role model to young teenagers, the Mahatma Gandhi of the 90s. I'm telling you, ladies and gentlemen, I am the Pied Piper of Talk Radio. I will lead this country with my magic verbal flute. You ignorant man, you ignorant buffoon, you have no right to breathe the same oxygen as me. Hello, am I the only person in this country that thought that was the most infuriating man in the world? This is the best experience in the world. Ladies and gentlemen, Ian Collins, voice of the common man. I love you all. Dirty old bats, you know? What on earth is going off here?
Have you ever had a one-night stand?
Yes.
How many?
Not a lot.
Not a lot?
No.
Liar, liar. I'm 21 and I'm still a virgin. I find it orgasmic.
Through the Night with Ian Collins. Only on Talk Radio.
I've got farmer detail coming up here. Hang on, let me go to Patsy. Patsy.
Hello, Ian.
Hello, Patsy.
Hi, I was going to talk about farmers.
Yes.
On the skiing and on the modifying.
Yes.
Doesn't surprise me at all that farmer owners go skiing because they've got a bit of money.
They've got a bit of wonga.
Yeah, they're outdoors strong types, you know, bit of rugby and all that probably.
Yeah. Well, this guy played rugby and skied.
Oh, well, there you go.
Yeah.
Because I remember being taken skiing once as a little present, and in the morning they were all bright-eyed and bushy-tailed down there at 8 in the morning, and of course the minute I'd said it I realised what a gaff it was. I think, oh, how many acres have you got? You know, and then I realised it's a bit like saying how much money have you got in the bank? You know, because they all had 10,000 acres.
Yeah, I suppose it is, isn't it, really? Yeah.
It was a bit, yeah, I realised it.
You never thought of it like that, yeah?
No, it is, yeah, you don't talk about acres.
I actually asked him how big his farm was.
Yeah, it's a bit like saying how much stuff you got.
Yeah.
And, you know, they all have, like, you know, well, this guy had just sold, you know, God knows how many acres of and tonnage of Brussels sprouts to some major supermarket.
Blimey.
So, so that doesn't surprise me at all.
Okay.
And now this modification thing. I mean, since we started cultivating, as humans, our crops, of course we've, like, put a bit of wheat with a bit of corn and seen what happened. But it's getting a bit surreal when you start putting fish in tomatoes and frogs in wheat. I mean, that's not
They're putting fish in tomatoes?
Yes, that's what it's about. They're putting
I don't want a fishy tomato.
Fish. No, you don't want a fishy tomato, do
Yeah, but
you?
that's just a I mean...
Why?
That's a product thing. I mean, that's down to whether you want to eat it. I mean, I wouldn't want to eat that kind of...
But we won't have a choice, because once they've started growing it in the fields and then the pollen goes to the field next door and then the bee takes it to the one next door, and it's all getting a bit surreal, it's all getting a bit mad.
I think it's just evolution, Patsy. I think you're scared.
No.
I think you're scared.
Evolution, fish in tomatoes, frogs in wheat.
It's a natural progression.
Madness. We'll all be loopy, even loopier than we already are.
But we already are, aren't we? So it doesn't matter.
We're just going to go on and on, getting loopier.
There you go.
So I think I'm good for old Melcher.
Thank you very much,
Good
Patsy.
for a law to get done.
You take care. See you later.
Bye.
Bye. That's Batty Patsy. Can I just make an observation here? Of all the callers we put on tonight, they've all been from London. Every call has been from London.
I had one bloke call from Wigan, but he dropped off.
Did he?
He wanted to talk about charity shops.
Oh, that's a shame he dropped off.
Probably wouldn't have been that good anyway.
We don't know that.
They didn't sound very good.
Don't discriminate against callers when you don't know what they're going to say. You're not psychic, you're not Mystic Meg. You can't just discriminate and say, well, they wouldn't have been good because they're from Wigan.
I'm Pathetic Pete.
Pathetic Pete. Pathetic Pete. I think. Me thinks. So why is it we all call it, and yet most of our listeners, although London is by far the biggest one area, but most of our listeners, in the same way as, you know, most people didn't vote for Tony Blair last time. He just got the majority. You know, most of our listeners are not in London.
They're not.
Most of our listeners are outside London. And, national radio stations and television have this ongoing battle to try and, you know, not sound London-based. And we try, very, very hard on this show not to go kind of down that line of sounding too... Inevitably, if, you know, we're talking about coming to work or whatever, you're going to get references to where the place is, obviously. But generally speaking, we're kind of, you know, fanatical about not creating that, and yet we've had every call so far from London town, mate. So, what can I say?
I bet you of them three there, all three of them are from London.
You think so?
Yeah.
You think so?
I do.
Have you got any Are You From London music there?
Shall I go and have a look?
Have a look in your big library and we'll check out, find out whether we got some Are You From London music.
Are you ready?
Yeah. Hey. Hello. Hello.
Hello?
Are you from London?
No, I'm not. I'm from Wigan. I'm the fella that he's just been saying nasty things about from Wigan.
Sue him. Stay there. Don't go away a sec. Hello, Talk Radio.
Hello, Ian. How the devil are you?
Are you from London?
No, are you?
No.
You're from Ashford, aren't you?
Lovely place.
How you doing, mate?
Well, once upon a time. Stay there. Don't go away. All right, 700 40 50 60. Hello, Talk Radio.
What's up? I'm not from London, man.
Where you from?
You're from Cardiff, man.
Cardiff?
Yeah.
Is that a nice place?
Yeah, man, it's all these sheepshaggers around now, isn't it?
It's what?
It's all these sheepshaggers around the place, though.
Is it?
Yeah.
Well, pack it in then. Let's go here. Hello, Talk Radio. Oh, that's too loud. Too loud.
How did we do? We did all right. 2 out of 4.
That's three.
3 out of 4, but I think he was on a bit of a jest.
Who, that one?
The one from Cardiff.
Oh, probably,
So we call it 2 out of 4, 50%. That's not bad.
2 out of 4. And not from London. Always hard to tell.
Should I go and see who's on those lines then?
Have a check them out.
All right, then.
Check them out. So, yeah, I'll come to the other stuff here. I still need to know about the Californian detox. I was thinking about taking a bit of a break to California. Because California's, you know, always kind of appealed in one very small sense. Because it was going to have like an interesting kind of holiday. You wouldn't generally go to California. You go somewhere, you know, where there was something of relevance to have a look at. But if you kind of want an easy sort of holiday, you want a bit of sun, you want to travel around, and you want to just relax and take in a bit of this. I thought about California, but I heard, you know, loads of conflicting kind of stories. I'm thinking of blagging, you know, Ian Collins, voice of the common man. He was trying to blag a Concorde thing there. Did Concorde fly to California? Is that an ignorant question as well? Am I going to get letters about that thing? I'm surprised at the age of 30 you don't know that. I don't know where Concorde flies. We asked on the air once if anybody had ever travelled on Concorde. We had one call, which was Nigel, who was in Oxford at the time, who'd been on Concorde a few years previous. So I don't know whether it goes to California or whether it's just a kind of a New York-y thing. I don't know if anybody knows. Give us a call. With California, the kind of, you know, pros and cons of would be rather handy. Alex Higgins is apparently going to sue cigarette manufacturers for giving him cancer of the throat. He was getting these things free for a long, long time. And after doing it for sort of 30 years or whatever, he's saying, well, you know, I didn't know what the dangers were. They didn't put... These are all kind of, you know, pathetic cases. Anyone with half a head should know that if you say... How anybody ever got away with this in the United States, where they have done, and managed successfully to sue tobacco manufacturers into giving you some cash. I've got no idea whatsoever. No idea whatsoever. Crazy. David McGee, great show, but no reference to a certain band called Queen. I'm not sure if you've heard of them, but the middle bit of an innuendo, which went to number 1 in the UK. So it can't be that bad. Would be a classic piece of music for your show. Or even Killer Queen would be good too. Yes. This is from the Furman, who says, hello, just checked out your website. Pretty cool, great use of Flash. What the hell does that mean? Is that the detergent? Great use of Flash. I hope you talk about the paranormal X-Files stuff this morning. That really freaks my chicken on a Friday. A lot of these came there on a Friday. Fantastic Judith, whose letter I got this morning, says, no, I didn't. I got it this evening. About the geezer who came into the studio to film you and then disappeared. I think I know what happened. There's a program on the telly at the moment called Night Shift that profiles nocturnal workers. I reckon he sold the film for bundles of cash and one day will switch on and voila, end of mystery. So when's that program on, Night Shift?
Don't know, I was looking forward to watching that damn video as well. I got all dressed up for it.
That wasn't the answer to the question.
I look very smart.
The question was, when is the program Night Shift on?
It's on about 4 o'clock, I think.
Well, in the afternoon?
No, duh. In
What do
the
you mean,
night.
duh?
Well, it's night shift. It wouldn't be on in the afternoon, would it?
No, it's about night shift workers.
Yeah, well, it's still going to be on in the middle of the night.
Of course it wouldn't be on in the middle of the night. Would it be on when... The whole point of it is to show people in the daytime about night shift workers, you great big dink.
I bet you anyone you like, it's on in the middle of the night, about 3 or 4 o'clock.
I bet you it isn't.
Of course it is.
Of course it is. Why would they put it on at 3 o'clock in the morning?
So security guards can sit there and watch it.
Security guards can, but they don't usually tailor their TV programmes to what a security guard sat there behind a counter is going to watch.
I bet you it's on a... I bet you a tenner.
I bet it's not.
I bet you a tenner it is.
Somebody will know. Somebody... it's about nocturnal workers. I need to know when it's... How could they have made a programme about nocturnal workers and not come and had a chat with us?
Yeah, exactly. We're the kings of the nocturnal work.
I don't mean for us to have been on it. I'm just talking about from a research point of view. How could they not have phoned us up and said, oh, could you give us some sort of, you know...
Because you are famous for your quotes, aren't you?
Very famous.
All the West End plays come to you.
All the West End play. I tell you, a West End play, you know, succeeds or fails on my word.
What did you say about them?
Annie, simply the greatest show in town. Mamma Mia. What was that one?
Yeah, what did you say? I got completely abbered.
Couple of... That's a good one. Couple of things, but I noticed outside the theatre, they didn't put my name next to it. You know, I told you this?
What, nothing at all?
Did I not say this?
What, just a quote with no name?
What they got is, like, you know, they got, this show will run forever. Chris Tarrant, radio, you know.
Yeah.
This is just simply fantastic. Baz Bamingong, whatever his name is, Daily Mail.
Yeah.
This is the most entertaining night for years. Talk Radio. Hello?
Oh, no!
What, did we all say it together or something? How the hell did that happen? Well, the Annie thing, you know, I was in every flipping newspaper leaflet outside the theatre in big letters. I'm having some of this. I'll go and see more of these things.
Yeah.
Good bit of profile.
Yeah.
Good bit of profile. Let me just check out... hello?
Hello. I'm on the excellent. Yeah, it is actually. Night shift is on in the middle of the night, I think.
Thank you very much.
Yeah.
What time?
Tenner you owe me.
Oh, blimey, I can't remember now, but it is. I think the point is that it's for people who are awake at night to see what other people are doing.
Yeah, exactly. My point exactly.
What, that's the most ridiculous piece of scheduling. When you say middle of the night, how middle of the night?
I think it's definitely after between sort of 2, 3,
3 and 4?
Yeah.
No, it'll be on at about 8 o'clock in the evening, and they'll repeat it at 3 in the morning.
No, but the thing, do you know why? Because it's so boring that people just, wouldn't stand for it, like, for it to be, at 8 o'clock on it.
But what kind of numbskull in the media made a programme and didn't, like, ring us up and say, can you give us some interesting people? Because we're going to give them all the interesting people, you see.
Yeah, but, I've seen one where they did a feature on this guy who raises and lowers Tower Bridge or something.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, my God.
It's that kind of thing. It really is just terrible. And they did a feature on, like, some all-night chippy.
Oh, blimey.
Yeah, so,
we're missing nothing.
Don't be sorry. Don't
We're
be sorry
missing
that
nothing
you
at all.
exactly.
Okay, brilliant. Thank you very much indeed. That's now we know. Now we know. It's just great, right? You talk to television people have no idea that radio exists. They are such a strange bunch. I mean, even those that there's one or two that kind of latch onto it. They have no idea. They don't comprehend. And I know I've discussed this before with you. When you talk, if you go to a party or something, and you tell someone you work in radio. And they go, oh, right, okay, yeah, where'd you work? You go, Talk Radio. Oh, really? It's all right, yeah. What time are you on? You say, 2 in the morning. You say, I'm sorry? Oh, it must be terrible for you. And they really, really say that. I mean, there's no... it's like... It's quite an insulting thing to say to somebody, isn't it? Like somebody said, I'm a nurse. You wouldn't say, you might get covered in shit all day. You wouldn't say that, would you?
I always get that, actually.
But you do get that.
Yeah, you get that.
Oh, it must be... no. Oh, God, no. And you can't kind of... Because there's 1,000 million things you want to respond to that with. And you kind of almost... You can't say them all quick enough.
And then their response is, oh, yeah, really?
But and then it's like, oh, you're just saying that because you really want to be on, like, at 9 in the morning. There's always that kind of... You get that same old... Anyway... so the best thing is really to just kind of say, oh, no, it's like very, very busy. So what? Who calls in? Security guards?
Yeah.
What, night workers? This is the most unbelievable, ignorant aspect to 24-hour society. It's amazing.
Do you know how many people who, you get in their conversation, how many people, the first thing they say is, who's going to be listening to the radio at 3 o'clock in the morning?
Yeah. One of these thickos my mum works with actually said, so, I don't suppose he gets any calls then.
Yeah.
My mum said, you become the kind of protective mother then, don't you? So, well, of course he does, Well, who would listen at that time of the morning then?
Stupid.
Well, you might as well say, why is he on? Why is anything 24 hours, you stupid woman? It's just like really weird. But the scariest thing is the group of people most likely to come out with that comment are folk who work in the television industry. They are so damn ignorant. It's just amazing. You mean, I could go to a corner shop in the most remote village in this country, and someone will say, oh, yeah, I've listened to your show before. You'll go to a producer of a television show that might, whose hours even coincide with us working at times. Oh, no, what's TalkRadio then? Is it, is that the London thing? No, it's a national station. Do you not read the media I mean, this is like, what the hell are these people talking about? Where do they come from? The ignorance is flabbergasting as to 24 hours society. So it's no surprise that some researcher, and knowing how these things work, I've got enough bods who I know work in that industry, where they're kind of charged with these, almighty tasks of getting things together. Some researcher of about kind of 19 or 20 would have been sat at a desk and been given the task of finding people who work at night in really interesting jobs. And, if you were that researcher, wouldn't you just have died for somebody to come up to you and say, look, I don't want to tell you you do your job right, but if you ring Pop-Up Pete from the Talk Radio programme, he's a producer of the most listened-to nighttime radio show in the UK, which invariably has more people listening to it than television has watching it at that time of night. And he has a long, long list of phone numbers, because Ian bought him a big diary that he keeps them all in. He has a long list of phone numbers of the most bizarre, weird and wonderful people working at night. And that researcher could have gone back to her boss in the afternoon and had the entire series sewn up in about an hour. Instead, this bozo probably sat there for like 10 weeks. Oh, no, I've got to research this. What's open 24 hours? Right, you got chip shops. What else? Oh, yeah, a friend of mine told me about some policemen. That's it, policemen do 24 hours. Instead of ringing us and saying, well, we've got, we've got some not unusual, necessarily, profession in every respect, but, if you want characters, in fact, we've got loads of unusual professions, but even amongst the more conventional professions, it's the kind of people, that's the difference. And if somebody is like a regular to a radio show, they're likely to be somebody who can talk. And boy, TV companies, more than anything, need somebody who can talk. Who made that programme? I need a media anorak to tell me who made it, who makes the programme Night Shift. what company. 08700 40 50 60, all of that. Jules is coming on in a second, and bundles of other stuff. Don't go away.
Is this summer going to be one of the best in your life? Well, let's see. What do you need? Summer weather, plenty of days in the country and nights on the town, a couple of weeks in the sun. Oh, you need someone to share it with. That's okay. We all need a companion, but you have to take the first step. Call 0808 100 1089 and let the Talk Radio Matchmaker go to work for you. We've got tons of members and can find your absolute best personality matches in a matter of hours. Call the Talk Radio Matchmaker today on 0808 100 1089. Before you know it, this summer could fly by with a great companion at your side. The Talk Radio Matchmaker, your ticket to summer fun.
The digital TV revolution is here. Now you can enjoy 400 satellite channels in a widescreen format and ProLogic surround sound from the comfort of your own brain. You no longer need a television set, just a miniature satellite dish the size of an earring pierced into one lobe. Have two ears specially pierced and you can watch 800 channels from around the globe all at the same time. Make telephone calls on your fridge and get internet access to over 50...
Very soon it's all going to get an awful lot simpler. At NTL, we'll be able to cater for all your television, telephone and internet needs wherever you live. Call us on 0800 183 1234 and hang in there. Help is on the way. NTL. Technology tamed.
One man. No, you call Anna Rayburn, you speak to her. 4 hours. You can't get enough of me, can you?
Can't cause any trouble, can it?
You pay for it, you scumbag.
Controversial and always entertaining.
I am so sick of this, moaning and groaning.
Good, I'm glad you got that off your chest.
James Wales says what he thinks and thinks what he says.
Hooray, James. That was absolutely wonderful.
Weeknights from 10, only on the new Talk Radio. Ian Collins on Talk Radio.
There you go, tank on Ian Collins to my favorite Pangyo Pete on Talk Radio. 佢真係好好笑。
Jules?
How are you doing, sir?
We were already talking about you earlier.
Yeah, see, I'm like the bad penny I crop up.
It was all good, I can promise you.
That bloody producer, imagine that interviewing Mrs. Mad. you could have a series on her alone.
Yeah, I suppose there is also the possibility that they had heard this show and decided that this was not the area to follow up the detail.
Roger from Bristol, he'd be pretty interesting, wouldn't he?
Yeah, you see, Roger would have been a cracker.
Yeah, how are you doing anyway?
Not bad at all, Jules. What about, how's the little one?
Oh, she's great. She's gone away with her mum and brother for a few days. So I'm all on my lonesome, and it's horrible in the house on your own.
You poor old thing.
No.
Don't you like your own company?
Yeah, but it gets a bit boring after a while.
Yeah, but all the peace.
Yeah, but it's, it's... The quietness is deafening, if you know what I mean.
That's because you miss your family.
Yeah, I do, actually.
Yeah, of course you do.
But work in their infinite wisdom has let me loose on the bloody big lorries. They paid for me to do my Arctic test.
Oh, yeah.
So,
it's a long way to go, isn't it?
I don't know. I mean, I'll get a bit of experience with these.
Yeah.
And then... Because I think you're tied with them for 18 months.
For sure.
And then everybody said, oh, bloody hell, they got you by the balls. But I think of it, I've got 18 months guaranteed work, haven't I?
Well, absolutely.
You know?
That's the way you have to look at these things.
Yes.
Yes.
So, what's going on in your life then? You still a virgin, or you doing all right?
Still a virgin.
Oh, well, what about Pop-Up Pete? Is he still punky?
He's still punky.
Yeah, I'll have to get down there soon, mate.
You will do, any time you want.
I'm getting withdrawal symptoms.
I bet you are.
Have you had many nutters on the phone anyway? Because I'm looking at the moon and it is a full one.
Is it a full moon?
Oh, is it ever?
You see, that explains everything.
All that water in their body, it's the imbalance, isn't it?
Oh, yes. There we are.
Anyway, nice to talk to you, Ian.
Good on you, Jules.
See you later, Pete.
Speak to you soon.
See you later. Take care.
There you go. There's Jules in Coventry.
Very good point.
Hey, isn't it just? 08700 40 50 60, you're right, the Chinese chick. So Saturday, I arranged to meet her on Saturday at 11 a.m. I go round there, and boy, I'm cooking. I'm cooking like the hot-blooded male that I am. Now, I don't mind saying, right, that in male terms, I don't think I haven't got the best body in the world. And I'm very pale as well with my kit off. So these were kind of worrying factors while entering the kind of, the world of carnal encounter with somebody you don't know too well. See, since the girl was Chinese, right, you know, and obviously, well, we've got John in here in the studio, you know, China, you know, in skin tone, you've got that kind of, that lovely kind of, you know, continuous, or what a Brit would call a continuous tan.
Yeah.
But of course it isn't, is it? Because, you know, it's just that lovely brown colour.
I don't think I'm that brown.
You're a damn sight browner than me. And him.
Yeah, I think I'm more pale than you, actually.
Yeah, but the point is that, you know, when I
Look
take
at that.
see my face, you know, to your back as you're exposed there, but, you know, when you take your shirt off and you lay next to somebody, it was like almost...
Tipex.
It's, yeah, but it's bad news. So I'm thinking all of this. But anyway, I go on there and I get my hair cut, you see, beforehand.
Right.
This is very short now.
Yeah.
I've had a skinhead again.
Yeah, he's had it all shaved off, everybody. He's got a number 2. Number 2.
Do you like it, Pete?
Number 2. Yeah, I do, actually.
Yeah,
I do. But I
stuttered a bit there, didn't you, for a second?
No, I do like it. I do like it. I've always said, and I will say it if I'm honest, I prefer you with longer hair, but no, it looks all right.
Yeah, but longer hair is kind of, I don't know, it never looks the same
I
twice.
like your punky look, you
Never
know?
looks the same twice.
With your spiked up thing.
The spiked up bits.
But I do appreciate that takes a long time to prepare every night, doesn't it?
Well, it does, you know, and I think this is, I don't know, might be the
Especially
way
when it'd only
forward.
be me who's looking at it all night.
Well, that's the problem.
Makes
you see,
you wonder if it's worth it,
found myself only thinking of you, Pete, whenever I gelled up. So anyway, I go round to the Chinese chick's house, which is a nice little flat, and she's obviously got a reasonable little job. Well, I know what she has got a reasonable little job, but nothing spectacular. She's got enough to keep a little one-bedroom flat. And I guess I was in there for about, I don't know, 2.5 minutes.
In where?
I stepped in the front door. I'd been in the front door about 2.5 minutes. She said, "Hello, how are you?" Which, had she said in Cantonese, would have translated,
"Hey, they home, ma."
There you go. And I said, "I'm very well, thank you," which would have translated as,
"Oh, guy."
Thank you. And then she said, "Fancy it," which translates as,
"Wait, they got some yeah."
Oh my God, Lamb's Garden is going to ring us up and say, "I can't believe what I said on the radio." Anyway, but the score is that there we were in this situation, and I found myself in a position that I've actually been in it before, but not quite in this way.
Yeah.
I arrived there in a different way to, did you swear, by the way, then?
Not in the slightest.
No? I was just interested. Wouldn't have mattered, because you're only relaying a true fact. Anyway, so I find myself in a situation in her front door that I kind of been in before, but not in the same circumstances that led up to this encounter. And it was as candid and as open as she was, literally, in the cinema when I first met her.
Was she? What did she look like? Was she revealing?
She wore she wasn't particularly big busted. A lot of Chinese chicks aren't big busted.
By and large, they're not, no.
Kind of part of the thing. She was so petite. It was particularly, like, you know, with the kid off. It was incredible. And just had the most amazing, silky body I had ever seen. Oh, my God, there's a spider in this studio. Can you believe that? I've never seen a spider. It's on the window.
Where?
Look at that, in here, where I am. Look, don't look behind you, it's in here. Look.
Where? I can't see it.
See it? It's crawling on the window. How does a spider get up here?
Where is it?
Here.
I can't see it.
Can you not see that?
No, I can't.
How can you not see that? Look, it's a spider.
Oh, there it is.
That's more than an Incy-Wincy number.
God, blimey, it's not a very big one, is it?
That's the Chinese chick who's metamorphosized into a spider. Anyway, so, this girl, right, had just the most... You know when you arrive in a situation, you can't actually quite believe you're in that situation. And I know everybody had a lot of advice, people ringing up saying, "Oh, be careful what you're getting into here, you know, you never know," because, you know, you don't know what somebody's past or background's all about, but you have to sometimes go on a kind of a gut feeling thing. So, within a couple of minutes, we are clinching, we are passionate with each other.
Are you making out?
We are making out. Hey, we just made out. So we're doing this. Well, Ricky. And it just kind of, like, went into... I mean, every piece of... What's that film? where they do the thing by the fridge.
9.5 weeks.
9.5 weeks it is, which translates as... Hey, there you go.
I had to think about that one.
And it kind of... we didn't do anything with oranges, by the way, by a fridge, but it was just... It was kind of all that heat of the moment sort of stuff.
How long did it last?
Well, that little section lasted for about 5 or 10 minutes.
That little section?
And it was just... You know when you're kind of...
Quick, turn Sky News on.
Really?
Nicole Kidman.
Said anything like that.
Doing what? Oh, that. Kissing him?
This is this film that's meant to be really pornographic.
I bet it isn't.
Really pornographic.
No,
seriously.
I bet it isn't. This is Kubrick's last film.
Loads of it's been cut out.
Yeah.
I'm going to get it out.
Anyway.
Yeah, sorry.
So we're in the hallway, and it's just completely... You know when two people are just kind of mad for each other? And there's sort of like well, you wouldn't know, Pete, but there's a kind of a carnal thing going on.
She was mad for you?
She was mad for me, and I was mad for her. And it was, at that moment, the most natural thing in the entire world. There was nothing cheap about it. There was nothing kind of tacky about it. And if there was anything cheap or tacky, then it was only adding to this experience. I had steam coming off my buttocks, you know, within, like, 2 minutes of walking in this place. This was... so anyway... and yes, and then it kind of went elsewhere, and the whole thing wound up in a gratuitous love-making session that was passionate, that was fulfilling, that was ongoing. It was the bonk of the century. I swear no man has made love as coolly and as seductively as I did on Saturday to the Chinese chick. And I'm telling you, Chinese girls are where it's at.
So what, were you there all day?
I was there for... I arrived there at 11, left about 5 past. No, I arrived there at 11, and I left at about... I left at 1:45. I got a cab at 10 to 4.
Yeah.
From outside her house.
And were you bonking all that time?
Pretty much.
Really?
You know when you kind of...
Where did you do it? Where did you do it?
Well, where else do you normally do it?
Well, yeah, well...
Up the... Oh, no, I thought, what room you mean? I see.
So, of course.
Oh, no, we had none of that old kind of, you know... I mean, yeah, we were trying to be ambitious with each other. We didn't go...
Did you do it in the kitchen?
No.
Bathroom?
No, did do it in the bathroom.
Hallway?
Yes.
Did you?
Yes.
On the stairs?
This was the last, in fact, the last of the afternoon.
Really, the last one?
No, not on the stairs, just in the hallway. Because it was one of those great... Right, got to go now, all dressed up, and then like, oh no, here we go again. It was one of those.
Back again.
And that kind of happened like a few times, but that was the... Anyway, so this went on, but it was just... I actually felt that the next girl I meet, I've got to get married to. Because you know what I felt about this whole experience? I think the big fella in the sky, the big fella called God, actually sent this situation my way as like, this, Collins, is going to be your final old bit of jiggery-pokery before you settle down. And boy, did you go out with a bang. Did you go out with a bang.
So are you going to see her again?
Well, this is the thing, because I think I could easily see her again, but I kind of get the impression... I can't even describe this. I kind of get the impression that if I didn't ring her, she wouldn't ring me, and it wouldn't much matter. And to see her again would totally distort and remove almost the whole reasons for what happened on Saturday. It would kind of like... It's so tangible that it feels that what happened on Saturday was meant to happen. And to happen a second time is not meant to happen.
Yeah.
And that's why I keep this thing in my head thinking, this is surreal. This never happened. This is... There's Wizardora material there for, 14 years. I'm telling you, it's there. It's there, big time.
How did you leave it? Was it a bit awkward?
No, not at all. Not at all. It was like some kind of spiritual thing going on between me and this chick. It was like, I'm telling you, it was just so, like, we were exactly on the same wavelength all the way through the entire thing. There was, like, no awkward moments. It wasn't like when you start going out with somebody and you've got to get through that first thing about, when you finally get laid, is it going to be this? There was none of that old thing. It was the most natural thing in the world. It worked in all respects. It worked on all kind of levels, as we say on this show. It just everything.
How adventurous were you?
Very. It was almost as if we kind of sat down and, you know, you'd be forgiven for thinking you'd have choreographed this thing for a week beforehand. The way it just kind of went, it just happened.
Were there any props involved?
Not really, no.
Are you sure?
You're a right old pubby. You're like the little kid reading the Mayfair for the first time,
No,
top shelving it.
Trying to get all the detail out of you.
No, there weren't really any props involved. Only me. but it's just weird. And it's like I say, it's that feeling that the big chief on the cloud in the sky has said to me, Ian, there you go. There's your last sesh. Now you've got to meet and actually settle down with somebody. That's how it was feeling.
I don't know what to say.
But I'd say, I mean, a Chinese girl's known for... If I had to, right... Now, I know this is your culture here, John, but if I had to have listed the most sexual people prior to this, I'm working out here that your Chinese folks would have come in at about 173. That was in my head, you know, that's how I'm thinking. Because I don't look at China as... it's what we were talking about in the office before, about not being commercialised in the same way. Although, we've got, the Shanghai and the Hong Kong thing, but if you look at the mass land of China and the people within it, you don't think of it being a sexy country. You think of it being, a place with a whole bundle of stuff going on. Everybody wants to go there. You know, no Brit would be happy instead of the bloke with the hat picking the rice. You know, you have to see these visions. Then you feel you've been to China. You've got to do the Great Wall thing. You've got to do all of that, you know. You've got to go to Tiananmen Square and say, oh, look, this is where they did it. Oh, look, yeah, that's where the boy went with the tank. Just there. You know, it's all those things that have got to be done. But you don't think of it being sexy. It's kind of like, there's me talking about going to California. If I don't want to go to California and I wanted to go on one of those kind of meaningful holidays, China, is one of those. But you don't think about being sexy. So are Chinese chicks known to be sexy? You must have been out with a few Chinese chicks.
They don't strike... Well, it doesn't strike me they're obvious. When I was out there in Hong Kong, a lot of the time, a lot of people I knew would go to work and stuff. And over here, you might go for a drink at the pub, whatever. You might stay out, I don't know, midnight, 1, 2 in the morning. Over there, as soon as they finish work, like, I don't know, 9, 10 in the evening, it's like they kind of routinely just go home. They're very, not well-to-do, but they're quite very disciplined.
Boring is the word you're looking for.
Prim.
Prim.
I don't want to use that word. But,
Well, no, I mean, we are one of the few... I mean, this country is one of the few that just has this pub mentality, actually.
Have you ever actually been out with a Chinese girl, John?
No, not personally.
Just wanted to...
So I know more about Chinese girls than you do. That's fabulous.
One up on me, yeah.
Hey, yes. And a few
How old was this Chinese chick?
21.
You thought about giving her my number?
Or mine?
Because, you're not going to see her again, are you?
Well, it's funny, because she said she was 21. She could so easily have been anything up to 25.
Oh, she was like that?
26, yeah. Because initially,
lucky you.
I guess she was about... When I first saw her, I thought she was... Because she was quite, very slight. I thought she was about 19 or something like that.
Yeah.
It turns out she was 21. Anyway, but... So whether it's the kind of... The westernised element coupled with the kind of... The oriental element, I don't know whether it's a bit of that going on there, that you get this explosive kind of person.
Get the best of both.
Maybe you do.
Or maybe you were just lucky.
But I'm absolutely serious. I'm talking about a situation that I've never experienced like it in all my life. Never for... I mean, I'll tell you what, the proof of this is I'm not a kind of a 10 times a night man, The only time I feel like doing it 10 times is just before I've done it once. Then I really want to do it 10 times. But I'm pretty much in that kind of, if it happens a second time, then great. But, you hear people say, it's always when it's a famous actor of football, he did it 12 times a night. And you think, I don't think so. Your old sacks would have to be, the size of balloons in order to, have that kind of stuff inside you. Yeah. Crazy. It doesn't make any sense. So, yes, and there are people who do, go for multiple sessions. But I always like to make, the one session a good one.
Sure. Well, don't we all? Don't we all?
Because I'm a very, very bad quickie monger. Not good at that at all. You know, like people say, I like a quickie. No, not at all. I need my foreplay. I need all of that. Not very good at the quickie thing. But this was, again, you know, for that reason as well, entirely unusual situation. There we were, and it happened, and we, you know, you stop, and you kind of have a chat and a chinwag, and then it kind of happened again and again, you know, and it's just, this had never happened in this way, this naturally, in these circumstances, and that's why I think it was an act of God. I'm either going to become a vicar in the next fortnight, or I'm going to get married. The voice of the common man could be getting married.
Why don't you marry her? She could be the one.
No, I don't think. I think, honestly, if she was sat talking to somebody now, she'd be saying pretty much the same sort of things, but tagging it with, but I don't know if I want to see him again.
And why is that then?
I don't know. Look at all the great holiday romances that take place when you meet people that you can't think. I mean, I fell in love once with a Geordie nurse on holiday. Actually, nothing really did happen here apart from a bit of a kiss. I fell in love with a Geordie nurse who was stunning. She was stunning, and you know, but nothing happened afterwards. You know, it's a similar thing to that.
Yeah.
For whatever reason, if she knocked on my door tomorrow and said, "Look, I've got to see you. This has to carry on,"
you'd say, "All right."
Then I don't know, but I just don't get the impression it would do. And it's not about, you know, I don't want to go out with a girl full time who's willing to do that on the first day. It's not that at all, because it wasn't tacky in any shape or form. It's a bit naughty, but it wasn't tacky. The most natural thing I've ever done in that situation occurred on Saturday. And I tell you what, guys, I was darn good. I don't care what anybody says. I was brilliant.
It was like animal instinct.
It was animal instinct. And it was kind of... And it wasn't, I wasn't doing the dominant male thing. Even when I tied her up, I was, like, still thinking then, you know, that... No, but it was a real kind of 50-50 situation, and I was a very happy man. But the previous Friday, I met a different person, nothing to do with this, different person, which I'll tell you about in a second, which was weird as well. And then Saturday night, think about this, I'd been out with the Chinese chick. This incredible situation had taken place, and then Saturday night I have to go to this dinner party with Big Rach. What a contrast.
Yeah.
What a contrast. Can you imagine it? Unbelievable.
That brought you back down to earth, I'm sure.
Particularly when the prawn crackers arrived, I can tell you. That really did. 08700 40 50 60.
Sunraysia's Bram Presser and his grandma Ruby.
Granny, what happens to all the pits from the prunes that go into Sunraysia prune juice?
Well, Bram, I'll tell you, but you have to keep it a secret.
Okay, Granny.
Each night, just before midnight, the prune pit plucker magically appears in Sunraysia prune land and picks the pits, leaving behind a pile of plump prunes for Sunraysia to put in their prune juice.
But what about the pits?
The prune pit plucker takes them away because at his home he has a gigantic pile of pits, the fabled prune pit peak.
So you're saying that the prune pit plucker plucks the pits from the premium plump prunes Sunraysia pick to produce their premium prune juice and paddles the piles of pits to the prune palace on Prune Pit Peak?
Precisely.
Sunraysia's prune juice is always bottled in glass to maintain its quality and freshness. Sunraysia is now available at selected Safeway stores.
Drop all the charges, bung me something extra and I'll talk.
Vodafone's new tariffs include up to 50% extra talk time and lower call charges. Just talk direct to the #1 network at your local Vodafone store.
Oh, what's it in aid of? New suit, aftershave on the breeze, looking a bit dapper?
I've done it for you, Catherine.
No, Melinda Messenger.
That's right, Melinda Messenger on the Big Boys Breakfast this morning from 6. 10:53, 10:89 a.m. on the medium wave, only on the new TalkRadio.
Ian Collins and the Creatures of the Night.
This music calls you to do what you do.
That's just great. amazing. I've lost the spider now. Lost the spider. Any chance of a cuppa? It'll be my last cuppa of the morning. I'll have another one after this. Kat, how you doing?
Hiya.
Hiya.
How are you?
I'm all right.
Good, good. I just want to talk to you about this girl.
Yeah.
You keep saying, right, that, you keep talking about how if she was talking to her friends and stuff, she wouldn't want to, get in touch with you. I think that you're secretly hoping that she's listening to your radio show and that she's going to call you. I think you actually really want to get together with this girl.
Oh, what are you like?
I think it... No, I do.
Well, no, because I'll tell you what, because I don't think she would listen to the radio show. Well,
Oh.
she hasn't done anyway.
How do you know?
Well, I don't know. I think it might have come up. I think it might have come up unless she's very, very good at telling me porky pies.
Right.
But I honestly feel that what I experienced was only meant to happen then. Do you think I'm a disgusting man?
No, not at all. No. No, I think you've been very honest.
But the thing is, I mean, if I spoke to her again, then I couldn't say that I wouldn't see her again. It's not like I don't want to see her again. It's not one of those situations.
But if you had such fantastic sex with her, why don't you want to get together with her again? I don't understand that at all.
Because I can't understand that. I mean, everybody, when they date someone on the first time it gets to that sort of physical level, everybody has that little bit of apprehension, don't they? And it's like, is this going to be right? And I'm sure women have the same set of thoughts as men do as to, what's he going to think of this part of my body or that part, or, will I be this or will he be that? And all those horrible, uncomfortable things. There was, none of that. None of that at all.
Well, that can only be a good thing, though.
Oh, sure. Big time. But it was just so odd. I've just never been in a situation... What happened to me on Saturday, I've never experienced in my entire life. And that's why I think to myself, I think that, God is calling me up for the church.
Well, maybe that was like you just falling in love, and maybe that was what you were feeling.
But I don't... I think by now I'd be feeling those kind of...
Maybe you're just,
in denial.
No, well, yeah, maybe you're just so, overawed by the whole thing that you haven't had time to...
Yeah, it could be. Maybe I haven't digested it all yet.
Yeah. Maybe, yeah. Maybe you haven't recovered.
That's true.
From your massive sex stash.
Have you ever been in this situation?
What situation where I just met someone and... I can't say I have, no. No.
Well, you're in Liverpool, aren't you?
What's that supposed to mean?
What? Yeah, but you're not from Liverpool.
Oh, I am from Liverpool, yeah. I don't live in Liverpool, I live in London.
Oh,
She hasn't met me yet.
Huh?
What do you do?
Is your real name Kat?
Yes.
Really?
Not Catherine.
No, Cat.
Are you, being
No,
Kat for all your life?
I was christened Katie.
Oh, right. Katie, that's a lovely name.
Oh, thank you.
So what are you doing?
Oh, I can't sleep, and I turned on the radio and I was listening to you and your...
So you've never listened to us before?
I have, about a year ago.
Oh, right.
Not for a long
You thought, I
time.
can't believe these guys have still got that gig.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah,
So
no,
what-
I tried to get through to you about a year ago. Now I can't remember what you were talking about then.
What do you do, Kat?
I'm a med student.
Are you?
Uh-huh.
Oh, fab. Now, they're quite sexy.
Oh, are they now?
Because, no, I've got a couple of friends who are as well.
Oh, right.
And, whereabouts are you, learning?
Paddington.
Oh, my God. I know this was Charing Cross.
Oh, right. Well, we've merged with Charing Cross, actually.
You might know it. Anyway, so, yeah, there's a few I know, and a couple... See, I have this very bad habit, Kat, of falling in love.
Right.
I mean that in the
There's a loose term.
Yeah, you look at someone and you think, my God, they're gorgeous.
Right,
This is the person.
okay. Kind of infatuation.
I think we kind of do that a lot, all of us. But and I met this girl the other day. Well, the other month. It was a medical student.
Right.
And I thought, hello. And she looked at me and thought hello, but nothing happened.
Oh, right. Why not?
I have no idea. I honestly don't know. But don't go out with another doctor.
Oh, no, that's a bad move, no.
Yeah, but all doctors do. Every doctor you meet, their parents are doctors and their grandparents are doctors. Are your folks
far
doctors?
too incestuous, yeah, I totally agree.
Are your family doctors?
No, not at all.
Are they not?
No, I'm from Liverpool. Of course my family are doctors.
Yeah, but you haven't got a Scouse accent.
I used to.
She must be sort of, West Derby or something.
Do you want to come in for work experience? Seriously, do you want
I
it?
don't want to be a DJ.
Whereabouts in Liverpool are you from?
Chilwell.
I don't know it.
Do you not?
No.
Do you know anywhere in Liverpool?
Well, I'm not familiar with the place brilliantly, but I kind of, you get to sort of know from people calling in which areas are better than others.
Oh, right. Chilworth's fairly posh.
Yeah.
I went to school in Toxteth.
Did you? You started the riots, did you?
I did, yeah.
It was
all
you
by myself.
throwing your little plastic pushchair out the nursery school window.
Absolutely, that was all me.
So what area of medicine are you going into?
I want to be a surgeon.
Do you?
Uh-huh.
Oh, my life.
Yeah.
See, there's somebody else I fell in love with, a female surgeon.
Oh, really?
I've never seen a female surgeon.
You've never seen one?
Well, I have, because my mum had an operation about 2 years ago.
Mm-hmm.
And she said, oh, the surgeon's coming round in a second.
And you figured it would be a bloke?
And this, yeah, well, you do, don't you? Because
obviously, yeah.
The industry is massively short of female surgeons, which you will be familiar with.
Mm-hmm.
I gather it's getting better, is it?
Slightly. Slightly.
It's like females in law as well. I mean, that's getting better, but still not good. So, and this woman, this South African, unbelievable woman, came walking around almost in slow motion.
In your mind,
in my mind, yeah,
there was like music playing.
Exactly, that's it. I was holding flat, a rose between my teeth. But it's a profession you just don't see too many females in.
No, it's the scrubs that do it for you, is it?
Yeah, absolutely. Any particular area of surgery?
I don't know. I think maybe orthopedics. I get to play with big power tools and stuff. That'd be fun.
Yeah.
Crack people open.
Are you sure you don't want to come in for work experience?
Where is your station based, by the way?
We're in Oxford Street.
Oh, right, really?
Quite
lovely
close by.
Oxford Street, yeah.
Cool.
So the orthopedics thing, that's great, isn't it? Because when you see have you done some of it so far?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, definitely. Well, I'm in my 5th year, so yeah.
Oh, blimey. Oh, you've been in and out of theatres like that.
I've done it all.
Oh,
seen it
goodness
all.
me. But, everybody gets a chance, if you ever get a chance to see I don't mean you, I mean anybody else, you got to see, the hip replacement is something else, isn't it, Kat?
Oh, it's amazing.
That is the thing you got to see. I mean, this is like building a shed, isn't it, this thing? Building a shed. This is DIY.
So they get the drills and the really big power tools out for that one. Lots of cracking bones. Great.
I saw a thing the other day, and it was quite upsetting. It was on a little baby, but the little baby was all right, and she had. There is a name for it when the face is kind of inverted, because the structure of the skull hasn't formed properly when the baby was, in the womb. What do they call that? Do you know what I'm talking about here?
Like a cleft palate sort of thing.
Yeah, but I'm talking about the whole face. So you get a curvature from the forehead down to sort of the mouth. So all the features are there, but it kind of moon shapes inwards.
Okay, I don't know what that is.
Can't remember what it's called. Anyway, and they had to take this baby's skull off. You don't, that's probably normal to you, but you just don't think that this kind of thing happens. And they were banging away like mad on this little 2-year-old, but
it's pretty mad.
Yeah, it is amazing. So you don't mind the sight of blood, obviously.
Oh no.
No?
Not after 5 years, no.
No, anything you wouldn't want to do in surgery? Is there any area when you come across when you've either been, on your sort of experiences in theatres or whether practice or whatever, that you think, oh no, I don't fancy that?
Some aspects of like gynae.
I'm afraid I have to agree with you there.
It's a bit sort of,
I met a guy once who was an anal surgeon. How the hell do you wish to specialise in that?
I know a bloke who's an anal surgeon.
Who would, when you're sat there contemplating, like, pretty much like you're obviously doing now, areas you'd like to go into.
Career choices.
Who actually sits there and says, arses? I think I'll go in that direction.
I don't know. Very sad choice, though.
Unreal. And
not pleasant. You have to stick your finger up every day if you're one of them.
Oh, no. I mean, I'm sort of thinking, one day when I'm a bit older, I'll have to have that old prostate test thing. I don't fancy that. So what it's like in, for things more severe. And it wasn't until I was talking to another surgeon a little while back that I never actually stopped to think, how the hell do you operate on somebody's backside? And he was explaining various elements to that I just never thought, because it's not the easiest area, is it?
No, not really.
To get to.
No, it's not, no. You're
I'm
right.
staggered by that.
Not something I lend a lot of thought to, really.
Well, you try not to. So when do you finish then? When's it all up?
Next summer.
Blimey.
Yeah, exciting, eh?
Oh, you're going to walk straight into a gig, though, aren't you? I mean, they're all over the place.
Yeah, you get a month off and then straight in.
Yeah.
Pretty hardcore.
So what do you start off as?
You start off as a house officer,
The house officer, yep.
then a senior house officer,
Mm-hmm.
which you do for about 2 or 3 years.
Yep.
Then you take some more exams.
Mm-hmm.
Then you become a registrar.
Yeah.
And then you do more exams, and then a few more. And then you become a consultant.
Da-da.
And earn lots of money.
Yeah. So when you get up to the old, the grade A's and all that, and you're there, aren't you?
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
So what about, if they call a male surgeon a mister, what do they call a female surgeon?
You just get called Miss or Mrs. or whatever, whether you're married or not. Yeah, it's a bit boring, really. Doesn't sound as good, does it?
See, mister's great.
It does sound pretty cool.
It does, it's just amazing. Although, some people are quite shocked that perhaps cheapens it a little bit. I sort of figure if you got the doctor thing, you want to sell that all over the place.
Yeah, but it's quite funny because loads of people, you spend 6 years trying to get the doctor and then you spend another 3 years trying to get rid of it so you can get the Mr. or the Miss back.
Yeah, that's true.
Because surgeons are very particular about that. Don't like to be called physicians at all.
No, it's
very silly, but yeah. But anyway, back to your Chinese girl.
Yeah.
That's a quick talking about me. I think you should just call her up.
Do you think so?
Take her out for dinner.
This is your gut reaction?
This is my gut reaction. So I'm just listening to you now. This is what I think you should do. Now, I might be the voice of, an angel telling you what to do.
You could well be.
You should do this.
You could be one of the Lord's cherubs.
I could be.
Sent here to advise me on my strange...
on my
strange journey.
Love life.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, if she punches me in the nose, will you fix my nose for me with your big student first aid kit?
Yeah, or I can send you to someone nice.
Do you carry plasters around with you all the time, Kat, just in case?
No, I don't.
So trust me, I'm a doctor.
I carry big needles around with me all the time, though.
Do you? Have you ever been anywhere where someone said, is there a doctor in the house? And you thought, well, I'm pretty much one, so...
No, luckily, I think I'd run a mile.
I had to shout that out once at a place.
You had to what?
I had to shout that out on a microphone once. Is there a doctor in the house?
Did you? What happened?
So the guy I was having a conversation with had a heart attack.
Oh, dear. What did you say to him?
Well, he was dead, actually, at the time, so I couldn't say too much.
Christ.
Well,
really?
Well, he actually died, and then they resuscitated him. We had to go out and say, is there a doctor in the house? And there was a nurse, so she came out, and...
That was handy.
Very. I've never been so happy to see a nurse.
Oh, I bet you haven't.
Anyway,
okay.
Kat, it's lovely to talk to you.
Yeah, and you too. You give her a call, yeah?
Okay.
Is it a yes or a no about the work experience?
Why do you want Kat? She's a medical student. Why does she want to come in and sit there with you as a smelly 19-year-old?
Oh, yeah, she's about my age.
Kat, I think you go with the older man, don't you, Kat?
I'm 23.
23?
Well, I'm 32.
Practically the same age group.
I'd say 32
You're a teenager.
32 is more your thing, isn't it, than 19?
Oh, man.
Absolutely.
There you go. Lovely to talk to you, Kat.
Yeah, you too. Take care.
And you too. Bye.
Bye.
That's Kat, the horny surgeon. Boy, wouldn't you like her to unstitch you? 08700 40 50 60.
Every hour from the Sky News Centre. This is Talk Radio News.
Air rage passengers face jail threat. D-Day for sprinter Doug Walker. £100,000 price tag for Lennon's coat. Good morning, I'm Sophie Benzing. Passengers who cause trouble on aircrafts could in future be jailed for 2 years. The government's decided to get tough on air rage, making it a criminal offence to prevent cabin staff from doing their jobs. Chris Stark from the British Airline Pilots Association says the punishment will act as a deterrent.
It will make it much clearer to passengers as to what the penalties are if you transgress. And transgression should be treated very, very seriously, and from what I understand, the measures outlined will do this.
20 million households in England and Wales could see their water bills fall significantly. The water watchdog Ofwat is today expected to announce cuts of up to 25% off household bills. The managing director of Anglian Water, Chris Meller, says it'll be a tough challenge to meet.
There are going to be price cuts for customers. The reason the regulator is able to cut prices is because of the efficiency gains the industry has made over the last 5 years. We just hope that sufficient profitability is retained in the industry to allow us to continue to maintain the assets and improve services to our customers.
A bereaved couple are issuing a warning to other parents after their 3-month-old baby died from eating too much salt. Leroy Elders had been given liquidized adult food instead of baby meals because it it was cheaper and they thought the ingredients were the same, but the salt in his food caused massive brain damage. Great Western Trains will be sentenced today following the Southall train crash in which 7 people died. The company has pleaded guilty to a safety charge and faces fines of up to £5 million. New research shows 1 in 3 women continue to smoke when pregnant. Despite huge publicity about the harmful effects on unborn children, increasing numbers of mums-to-be have failed to kick the habit. A decision's expected later at Dougie Walker's drugs hearing. The first day's proceedings were adjourned without a statement being issued. The European 200-metre champion denies any wrongdoing despite testing positive for the anabolic steroid nandrolone last year. If found guilty, he faces a 2-year ban, which would rule him out of the Sydney Olympics. The Nicholas Anelka transfer saga is set to be dragged out. He's being given until noon to decide if he's to join Lazio. The Italian giants have agreed to pay $22 million for the Frenchman as long as he lowers his wage demands. And John Lennon's cashmere overcoat, worn at the height of Beatlemania, is to go under the hammer today. The autographed navy blue garment is expected to fetch up to £100,000. It has the words John Winston Lennon and his coat scribbled inside, complete with a doodle of the singer's trademark round glasses. From the Sky News Centre, this is Talk Radio News.
And it's pretty much the same old story all over the UK. Mostly clear, could turn a bit chilly in some areas, temperatures going down to about 5, but generally a fairly reasonable night, not too bad. Average temperatures 10 Celsius, that's 50 degrees Fahrenheit.
This is Talk Radio. Across the UK on 1053 and 1089 AM medium wave with Ian Collins.
You star, you broadcasting god, you man of the people.
From verbal caviar to verbal diarrhea, Ian Collins on Talk Radio.
Clitoris and tits.
Do you?
Yeah.
But they're just in the wrong order.
A moose is a moose, of course, and no one could talk to a moose, of course, unless, of course, that moose, of course, is a creature of the night. Thank you.
Oh, God. You nut jobs. Okay, hello. 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 Hello.
Hello.
Oh, it speaks. Hello.
Oh, good God.
Through the Night with Ian Collins, only on Talk Radio.
Apparently, don't go away, Bianca, with you in a sec. Thank you to the Right Reverend Alan Blizzard MP, who says the Myths recording news update. That's the band. That's the name of his band. Just put in the finishing touches to the 70s dub reggae track entitled DJ Clash. Also, it's kind of subtitled as Ian Collins versus Chris Moyle's Uptown Tonight.
Wow.
And huge news reaches me from Andy's website. The Myths songs on Andy's site have been downloaded in excess of 50,000 times.
Blimey.
I didn't even know they were on there.
No, I didn't.
Where are they? They're not in the...
Oh, yes, I did. Yeah, they're on the download, because there's two sections to the audio. There's a section you can just listen to.
Oh, and then the download section.
Yeah,
that's right, yeah.
So you can download it.
I'll do some more of that stuff in a second. I have so many emails and faxes here, and I know people who listen to this show, you know, sometimes say, we want to hear more calls, but I think it's only fair that people who bother to actually sit down and write out a fax or an email, we read as well. That can often spark off a nice bit of conversation. Bianca, hello.
Hi there.
How are you?
I'm okay, thanks. How are you?
Good stuff, not bad at all.
Good. I want to say about this Chinese girl, right?
Yeah.
Don't phone her back. I've been there and done it, and it just doesn't work the second time.
It doesn't?
No, it just doesn't.
So did you have
It's not as good.
You had a passionate encounter in the same sort of way?
Yeah, well, it was a friend I've known for about 14 years, and he just came up one day to my flat, and all of a sudden it just happened.
Really?
And we've been trying to recapture it ever since. It's just not working. 3 months later, I've got to say goodbye, because it's just not happening anymore.
Oh, my life.
I know, it's so sad.
So can't he be your friend anymore?
Yeah, but it just won't be the same.
No,
You can't have magical sex and then unmagical sex forevermore. It's just not going to happen.
That's very true, because, like, you know, sex within a relationship is different.
Yeah.
Whatever anybody likes to say, and everyone says, oh, no, it's not, but it is different to that sort of situation.
Yeah, because it was like, oh, it was amazing, it was magical, and then he comes up the next night and it's just nothing. And, you know, I felt that we really connected, and it was like you were saying, doing everything.
Oh, we connected, all right.
Yeah. Not being told you're attacking, but it was just amazing.
You know that feeling when you're actually in that situation and you just want to melt into each other's bodies.
Yeah, you just become one. It's totally
You just
amazing.
become one. And, and my God. But I think you might be right. I mean, I see what Kat was saying, that it might be worth... But...
It's never as good.
Yeah, because it's the whole emphasis of the relationship is on... It was based on sex for that moment of time you were together.
Yeah, it was like animal passion, and it was great. And then you've got to try and be, I don't know, connect again. It just doesn't happen, and it's not like we haven't tried. And
So are you
good.
still with this guy?
Sort of.
Sort of.
Yeah, I keep trying, you know.
Yeah.
But it's just not the same. So I'd say don't go back, because it's sort of taking the edge off it now.
Yeah.
Well, it's not so good now.
That's true. So what are you doing up, Bianca?
I just can't sleep.
Can you not?
Nah.
Just one of those nights?
It's just one of those nights.
Is it hot?
It is, actually.
Yeah, 'cause it's really deceiving at the moment, because where's the sun gone? Well, I don't mean now. I mean, it's night time now.
No, obviously.
But, I mean, it's not like it was last weekend, is it, when it was really hot?
No, but I think it's just too close now. It's just too
close.
muggy.
It's close, yeah. And what do you do?
I don't do anything, actually. Well, that's not actually. I'm training to be like a social worker.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Well, I might need your help in a couple of years as well, then.
Feel free.
I'll be sitting here, that's right, 2 years' time on this same show talking about how I've never got over this Chinese girl.
Oh, no. Well, if you want to get over it, go back, because it'll be crap and then you'll be fine.
That's probably what it is, you see.
But if you want to keep that precious memory,
there you go.
Just move on.
Brilliant advice.
Yeah, definitely.
Thank you, Bianca.
My pleasure.
Nice to talk to you.
Yeah, bye-bye.
See you later. Bye. That's Bianca. Sounded quite nice. Is, on that one there... as a fruit bat or no more?
No, as a fruit bat.
Oh, bloody.
As a fruit bat.
Mrs. Mad.
Hello, Ellie. Yeah. You missed Jules Holland, Pete Green, Bob Rigola, 9 Below Zero, James, Kristen Hurst, Alfred. I invited you.
Was Shane
And
McGowan
Donovan and Roy Harper, who is a friend of mine.
James? Who the
Roy
hell wants to
Harper.
sit and watch James? Was Shane
No,
McGowan?
he was boring, actually.
Was Shane McGowan there?
I don't know, but I was watching. Well. I mean, I was talking to Roy Harper.
Who's he?
Well, he had checked his career, rough at 15, about ultimately self-inflicted breakdown, which saw him committed to an institute after escaping.
Yes.
And when I said, hey, I'm talking Agent Bear Truck, because I'm a drummer.
Oh, right.
So you can shut your gob there. Right. And I've got a fan.
You've got a
the
fan?
Audience. Yes.
Who?
That's why I'm ringing. Oh, a man rang up and said I cheered him up.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
Oh, yes,
yeah,
I've got my values.
When I rang last...
You remember Miff once said I was value for money.
Yeah, you are.
Because I've got a bloody photographic memory.
Yeah.
Yes, and I do know Roy Harper, and he was lovely.
Yeah.
His son, his son plays the guitar, like, Fred Thelonious Baker.
Like Phil Collins,
that
yeah.
bass.
So, listen...
But you were at Reading, weren't you? We were at Guildford.
No, I wasn't at a wedding, no.
You didn't go to Guildford, then?
No, I wasn't at Guildford.
Well, Pete Green was good.
Excellent.
He's exquisite.
Are you talking about Fleetwood Mac, Pete Green?
Of course I am. Oh, for goodness.
They found him then, did they?
I know them. Anyway,
So listen,
we had top loaders.
when you were on last time, I was suggesting you bought a Hoover.
I was was... Shut up.
But it wasn't a... Pete,
What,
it wasn't a
shut me
Hoover,
mouth?
was it?
No,
What was it? A washing
Look,
machine?
because somebody's bigger than you and can
From
call
Adrian.
you out.
Yeah, it was Aid.
Shut up.
Was it a washing machine?
I'm
Hoover?
not bloody well. I'm not...
I said it was a Hoover, but it was a washing machine.
It was a washing machine,
yeah. Yeah,
And
Mrs.
the four
Mad,
doctors-
listen.
That was definitely a washing machine.
Listen.
Oh, shut you, man.
Wait, listen.
Oi. You know, I've got fans in your audience now.
Yes, and a fan is very important.
Donovan.
Excellent.
I used his song when I went to Edinburgh.
Listen, let me ask you something.
May I tell you that
yes.
Donovan is a sweetie.
Oh, no. Listen.
What?
Did you or did you not buy...
I was there.
Did you or did you not...
Looking for you.
Did you
I was looking all around the town for you.
Did you or did you not buy...
Plastic bottles and all.
Did you or did you not buy a washing machine from the catalogue the other day?
What's the catalogue? What's the catalogue? What? People like me don't even get them through the door.
What do you mean people like you?
Well, they just don't, do they, darling?
Don't get what through the door?
Catalogues. They don't send gratitude to me, love, from Scunthorpe.
Well, apparently...
Come on,
apparently.
that's good. Come on.
What do you mean that's
good? And there was a doctor and the medics.
Doctor and the medics?
Yes.
Fantastic.
You bloody missed a hell of a...
Were you about to say China Crisis then?
You, Linda's Farm.
Did you say China Crisis?
Yes, I did.
China Crisis are back.
Yes.
I was only thinking about the Black Man Ray. Did they sing that?
They were there, my darling. China Crisis were there on Saturday.
What the hell? China Crisis? I thought they all died or
China
something
Crisis
in
were there
suspicious circumstances.
6:55.
Fabulous.
Right?
Yes.
Cheryl Beer, you'd like her because she's a woman. A doll to you.
Thanks.
Keith Donnelly,
Yeah.
Dodgy, Easy-O, Sherbans, Wurzels. God, they're...
The Wurzels?
Yes.
How did the hell the Wurzels get on a bill like that?
Liz Horsman. But hey, listen, before we do
Yes.
anything else, I have also got my fan. My first, you know, like Terry Wogan said, dear the listener. Well,
I never
I've got
heard of
one
Terry
that
Wogan.
said to me, oh, shut up. Yes, you have. Yes, you have. And
Yes.
yeah, my cousin knocks about with it. What's he called that other one? That Jimmy Nail, I love him. Not Jimmy Nail, you know, the Sweetie Pie.
Alex Lester.
Yes. And Jules Holland was there.
Fabulous.
And the gospel choir.
Yeah, you told us all this.
Why?
You're repeating yourself now.
Well, you do it, don't you?
You're going to make a nut job
Ian
of yourself.
Jury was there, though. I doubt you knocked that.
I'm glad he was there.
He's poorly.
He's not too well at all.
No, and also neither is the other guy. You know that Johnny Cash?
Johnny Cash was there.
He's poorly. No, they did a little bit of tribute.
Oh, right.
No, he's poorly.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
What a shame.
Yeah.
What a damn shame.
You're quite poorly, though, aren't you? Well, quite drunk.
In what way?
In a drinky sort of way.
You are being rude.
I'm listening to Ian, my precious.
Shut up. I want to talk to that funny man from Bristol. And Ian's got me so ignorant because I told him to smack your gob.
Oh, I wouldn't do that.
Ian?
Yes.
Ian?
Yes.
Please don't overstep your mark.
Oh, I do apologise.
I mean that. I wanted an apology because you shouldn't do that.
Very good point.
Yes, I do have a poorly about you. And I'm not, I do have a lot of pain, yes. I'm certain that fart ass who's spitting into the phone, because he's not clever. It's not even amusing.
Well, you know me, Mrs. Mad.
I am known to the British nation as Ian Tell It Like It Is Collins.
By the way, oh, shut your mouth. Hamsters, have you heard of them?
The hamsters?
Yeah.
Now, but speaking of hamsters, did you see that... You're not allowed to say that. Thank you very much. 08700 40 50 60. Let me just do a couple of these. Paul says, if you got my last email about unsigned bands, and this will... Oh, right, yeah, I think he's emailed us back, which we'll put onto tomorrow's show, if that's all right, Paul. Dear Ian of the Creatures, the reason, or one of them, us women put on weight when we marry is because of you men, says Shirl of Sheppey. We're so busy experimenting with different delicious meals to impress you lot, and we have to test them, don't we? My weight escalated from 8.5 stone to 10.5 stone in no time, and I've never been able to shift it effectively since, although I have my moments. Shirley, you got to sort that out. Otherwise, you know, you'll end up living in Laysdown or something. It's the biggest I've ever been in my life, and I loathe it, but I'm a blinding cook. Sorry about the trumping. It's you men who give up. No more fun days out, too much pipe and slippers, ish with the PlayStation, or the net. Romancing and fun days out shouldn't stop just because you're married. Wise up. Excellent show. I'll tell you what, Shell, I'm a bit of a, I like my time out. I like going to interesting places. Rowan says, Dear Ian and Pete, Sarah's behind looks very nice indeed. I hope that picture is a taste of things to come. It should be a kind of a weekly section, a new part of Sarah's bod every single week. Have you asked her if she's up for box for a box? If not, ask her for me. What, she wouldn't do it?
No way.
She wouldn't do it.
It's a rather nice pic, though, isn't it?
It is a lovely picture, and it is our Sarah, who I hope she's going to come in. I don't know if she's coming in this week. I've got to ring her.
All the girls from our flat are coming in this week.
That's right. Pete's flatmates are coming in this week. How many is that?
4.
4.
All the female ones.
Are they up for it?
Yeah. Holly, Christine...
They won't last the whole night.
Yvonne and
They'll want to go home after an hour. They'll be bored.
Two of them are going to Los Angeles the next day.
Are they?
Yeah. Because, listen, they won a competition.
Did they?
Holly won a competition. Yeah, won a trip to Los Angeles. Not bad, is it?
Holly?
Yeah. She's the tastiest one.
Oh, that'll be good. Because we'll have her in the studio, and we'll say Holly's in the studio, and then that nutter will write on the internet. So Ian Collins is plagiarising other shows again.
Oh, yeah, I forgot about that.
We'll have that again. So Holly's nice.
Holly's nice.
Who's a bit rough?
No, none of them are rough.
You said earlier on that the one in the room nearest you was really rough.
No, none of them are rough. Don't say that.
But that's what you said.
They're all nice.
You said you were playing your new guitar, which also Rowan asked about as well.
Yeah, can I talk about my brand new guitar?
We're going to come on to that.
Please.
We will come on to it. It's important we digress. We divulge that detail.
Yeah, what?
Ian, Alan says, hello, Ian. I finally got your email address, so I thought I'd take it upon myself to say hello. Keep up the good work. I think it's a travesty that you're only on for 3 hours now. I've listened for 3 years and still think the show is top dogs of shows on Talk Radio. Don't listen to people that say otherwise, because they don't have a clue. No, you're probably right. I've enclosed a rather amusing picture for your strange pictures on the webpage. Hope you can have a laugh with it. Oh, blimey, I've probably deleted it and not gone into it. That's the worst thing. I do this all the time. I look at the emails in the box below where you don't get that. So I'll have to go back and have a look.
It's a Les Paul.
It's a Les Paul, by the way.
Yeah.
Well, there you go. Gerard says, the website looks great, one of the best. Nice to know what happened to Miff, Sarah and Mike after the changes. Any more pictures like that, revealing one, and you could start charging like the rest of them do. Have you seen the other picture of me auditioning a work experience chick? That's in there as well. That's in our emporium of cheeky porn. Voiceofthecommonman.com. Voiceofthecommonman.com. Hello, Ian and Pete. Oh, this is Rowan. Yeah, I've just done that, haven't I? Just done that. Yes. Long live the Queen. Thank you very much for that. Golden issue. This is Les in Eltham who says, well done, Greenpeace, today. Farmers have always crossbred their crops, but it's only recently that the food has been genetically modified with genes from such things as scorpions and fish. Why would they use scorpions? Everyone has eaten GM food because it's in soya, which is in loads of products. And that's the funny thing. All these vegetarians are now in this amazing kind of dilemma as to what to do. Anyway, forget about some scientists' findings that GM food gives mice cancer. For now, let's concentrate on the economic factors. Genetically modified food is patented, which means as the pollens are spread accidentally, all food will be eventually patented. Then the greedy capitalists will really stick the boot into the farmers, especially in the third world. There is also genetically modified tobacco, which is even more addictive. GM food is an attack against all something or other. The last bit didn't come out. But this is ambiguous, because John was saying just a second ago that there is, you can't, there's certain things in areas of economic law that you can't say that belongs to that and that belongs to that. Like, it's the old argument about who owns the sea. That's what we're talking about, and if one country owns the sea, do they own the sea bed? It was that kind of thing, John, wasn't it, we were kind of touching on?
So like,
If they own the seabed, how much of it do they own?
Yeah, it's welfare economics, all about pollution and stuff. And if someone
Who pollutes what?
Who pays for pollution?
Yeah.
Who owns? And it's all about who owns the rights to air and the seas we sail in, and all that stuff. It's hard to define ownership of intangible objects.
Yeah.
That's all they're saying.
Sounds very
Which is reasonable. Judith says night shift is on at 12:20 a.m.
Ah, well, you see, I've got a fax here that they've actually photocopied a TV listings thing, and it says night shift 4:10. Nocturnal jobs.
Marie says it's a 10-minute show anyway.
Yeah, 10-minute 4:10 to 4:20.
Chris in Edinburgh. Hello, Chris. Says, great show. About the GM issue, why do so many people presume that GM crops are detrimental to the environment? At present, the effects of GM crops in the ecosystem are unknown. Scientists need to grow GM crops in order to establish if they are harmful and also to determine if the crop is valid. Research into the potential of GM modification of plants will continue as long as there is a need and a demand for hardier and higher yielding crops. Why don't the objecting few just let the scientists and the farmers get on with their jobs? Thank you, Chris. Thank you very much for that, sir. Here's another one. This comes from Frankie in East London. Frankie. He says, you just mentioned the fact that people feel sorry for you because you're on the radio late at night. Well, I don't mean everybody. I didn't, I was talking about that every now and again you bump into somebody in a party and they seem all excited when you're telling you work on the radio. And they seem even more excited when you're telling you work on talk radio. And then you say, you work at 2 in the morning. They go, no. Whereas if you're in the United States, what time is it? 2 in the morning. Wow, man. How'd you get that shift? Totally different kind of turnaround. Personally, I think radio gets better the later it gets. Exactly. That is the point, Frankie. I mean, I think yourself and anyone who listens to this sort of regularly because they want to, or for whatever reason it happens to be, kind of know that you just do different stuff at night. But is it true that the graveyard shifts pays the least? Apart from the weatherman, of course. Take it easy. Well, it can be true. It can be true. If I kind of just started here tomorrow, then it probably would be true. But if you've been for a while, then inevitably you kind of, supposedly enjoy certain benefits of your longevity. That's the theory behind it. Although I think in radio terms, as a general rule, this shift, the weekends as a whole would be often behind a weekday shift for obvious reasons. A breakfast show would be the better one, and then it kind of alters accordingly. But it's all down to results and what you get. And in the past, we've achieved results that haven't even been paralleled in daytime. So it just depends. But yeah, you wouldn't be far wrong to suggest that, generally speaking, if you get to the night shift, if you just walked into it tomorrow, yeah, you would be. But it's down to, loads and loads of old boring stuff. P.S. Ain't you sick of hearing the term the Lawrence family? The Lawrence family this, the Lawrence family that. Drives you mad, don't it? Says Frankie, who's in London. There's been a lot of talk about that lately, and it's the important thing, or the thing that I think people forget, or the problem with how things are reported, is that you actually lose sight of the issue. And I kind of got to the point where I started thinking that the police killed Stephen Lawrence, because that's how it seemed to be reported. And whatever the horrors of that story, and they are palpable, the media kind of hijack these things and take it over, and then people wind up thinking, oh no, we are a million miles away now from the real issue. This is overtaking the fact that a kid, was stabbed to death, and now it's like we don't even talk about that when the issue comes up. It's like a whole bundle of other stuff. Like the folks are getting divorced or whatever. Collins, you're a beast, says Ian in Bristol. Or did he say you're a beast? You're only meant to bonk for England, not the world. Go Collins, go. P.S. Don't go back unless she phones you back. Okay. Thank you, Ian. Hot lover from Bristol. I've no real reason for this email except I want your boss's number to get you sacked now. I've no reason to get you sacked, I just want the number. You can understand, I want the number. I must get you sacked. Give me the number. Says Michael. He also says... No, it doesn't. Yes, he also says, about 4 years ago, I was the star of a TV show which was based on another radio station. Did you see it? By the way, Roger from Bristol was mentioned on the Internet Chess Club yesterday. Yes, I did see that, Michael, actually. That was the one that old Clivey boy was in, wasn't it? I did see that. It's fascinating. There was a Binman and loads of other stuff. Night shift is on in the middle of the night, £10 a peat. However, most of them seem to be filmed about 10 years ago. so I doubt you'd be on it. No, we didn't want to be on it. It was the fact that we were trying to work out why nobody rung us up and asked us for interesting people to be on it. Like all the folk that ring us now. Like Kat, who called. You know, what a great person to have on a night shift programme. Oh. Why are you up at night? Well, I'm, my last year at med school. I'm going to be a surgeon.
Yeah.
I'm going to be a hot-cutting, big machine-wielding, bone-crunching orthopaedic surgeon.
Yeah, yeah.
And I also sound dead sexy on Ian's radio show.
Yeah.
Which is good. What are you looking at?
It's looking out there.
Okay, all right. Okay, more of that in just a second.
Right now, while you're listening to this, your perfect match could be calling into the Talk Radio Matchmaker, so you should call too. Since it's brought to you by Talk Radio, it's just like letting your best friend get you a date. It's free to enroll and completely confidential. Almost instantly, our MatchLink software matches you with people who are at least 95% compatible with you. So call 0808 100 1089. The Talk Radio Matchmaker. It's the perfect way to find your perfect match. 0808 100 1089.
I suppose you want me to talk. If you don't, Sunshine, there's plenty who will. Tell you what, drop all the charges. Bung me something extra, and I'll blab.
Pop into a Vodafone store where Vodafone's new tariffs now include up to 50% extra talk time absolutely free. And we've reduced our peak rate call charges by up to 5 pence per minute. To find out how we've dropped our call charges, just talk direct to the #1 network at your local Vodafone store.
All right, I'll talk. I'll sing like a canary. I'll squeal like a pig.
Join me, Andy Houlihan, in the Sports Zone from 2 to take part in the nation's only platform for you, the genuine sports fan. We'll have reaction to all the day's top stories and, of course, all your calls on your station for sport, news and views, the New Talk Radio.
The trust like me. The trust.
All right, calm down. Tony is in Wakefield. Tony, hello.
Hello.
How are you?
I'm terrific.
Yeah.
I've just come in from work. We've been sat agog listening to your exploits with that Chinese lady.
Do apologise, Tony, but I did promise I would share it.
Oh, believe me, you've got to go back. You've got to go back. I mean, look, there's lorry drivers and all the rest of the length and breadth of this country now all nodding their heads because they all know you've got to go back.
I think if nothing else, I've given people plenty of material to work with, if you know what I mean.
Well, I do. Unfortunately, it'll be you who'll be working with that material as well. The bishop will be getting soundly slapped.
That's the thing, see, and if I don't have to, maybe I should go back then.
Well, you see, you've got to go back. Now, let me tell you something, right? I'm a bit older than you.
Mm-hmm.
When I met my wife, I've been with a few women now. When I met my wife, it was just like that. Like
really?
Oh, yeah, it was just like...
Oh, no, that's interesting.
I've been married 20-odd years now.
Brilliant.
It was just like I'd had it stuck in a bloody milking machine. You know where I'm coming from, Ian, don't you? Don't you? You know what I'm saying,
lovely.
Don't you?
But the weird thing is, Tony, I mean, without sounding soft on this, it was such a weird experience. It was weird in every way. I couldn't even, if I sat here all night, I couldn't even start to explain how weird it was. And it just, in a funny way, it felt like it was meant to be that one day.
Yeah, I know, but you see, look, next time, right, it won't be the same, but it'll be just as good, but different.
I was just thinking when you said that, if it was half as good, it would still be twice as good as it normally is.
Yeah, but sometimes it might be just as good, but it won't be the same, because it can't be, because that was a one-off incident.
Yeah, you can never replicate that.
You can't replicate it, that's right. But if you go back, maybe there'll be something that's equally as good. Do you see what I mean?
Or better.
Or better. But you've got to go back, because if you don't, you'll always wonder. And when you've got blisters on your fingers, hey, true, innit?
I've got those already.
Or when you're having that examination, what was it? For the when you're about 50, they give you.
That's right, yeah.
Yeah, when you're having that, you'll be thinking, dear God, I should have gone back. You will. I'm putting up with this, and look what I missed. You're never going to know, are you?
I think I've got to give myself 24 hours for this one to settle in.
You're always going to think, but you're always going to think as well. When you see you go along and you meet somebody else, okay, and all these women, they say, it's never the same. Rubbish.
Actually, you're tempting me now, son.
No, but you see, you go back, you meet another woman, right, and then maybe you marry her, and you're always going to think, yeah, but that Chinese girl was better, you know, or what if, and maybe I wouldn't be here now. So if you don't go back, you'll never know. You've got to go and live it out. Believe me, I'm right.
Tony, they are sound words, sir.
I'm telling you, mate. You've got to go do it. Go back and do it. Go back and do it, and then come back and do it. Well, she probably won't approve if you come back and tell us all about your sex life like this.
That's true.
But I mean,
I'll just do it every day.
No, I'm an audiological voyeur. You know what I mean?
Nothing wrong with that.
All right, mate.
Thank you, Tony.
Go back.
See you later. Ta-da. Here's another one that's coming here. This, always interesting to hear these ones. This one says, Dear Ian, I'm so proud of you. After 4 years of drooling, leering and talking about it, you finally got laid. However, it seems to me that there are greater forces at work here than your spiritual connection with Ming Ling, or do you not remember me faxing you? Barely a week ago, before requesting your cinema encounter, requesting that you stop discussing your sexual non-exploits and start getting some and dish the dirt. So it's with me, Ian, that you have spiritual connection. I think for my next trick, I'm going to will you to operate on Pete's buttocks with your left hand while simultaneously playing the theme to EastEnders on a xylophone made of custard cream biscuits with your right hand. And that comes from the Phantom Faxer. P.S. I'm so horny. Or me so horny. Fabulous. This is Rob, who will be in Hull, I guess.
All right, mate.
Hello, Rob.
How you doing? You all right?
Not bad at all.
The Chinese chick.
Yes.
You should definitely not go back.
Hey, I'm getting conflicting stories here.
I know.
Why should I not go back?
I've been in some situation, you see.
Yep.
And like you say, it does feel really spiritual. And you just kind of, gel together so well, and it's like, should I carry on? But you kind of know at the beginning it's not going to go any further anyway.
See